All right, we are on. It's on, like neck bone. We are on. It's on, like neck bone. Where is my sound here? We are on. It's on, like neck bone. Where is my sound here? All right, currently it's two people here, probably counting me. You see, I have the StreamYard link up, if you guys can see it. And how come? Currently, it's two people here, probably counting me. Why is it? While we wait, fam, let me chop it up with y'all for a minute. The six or so of you who are here, who has been following the? While we wait. Trying to get my sound together. Let's see if it works now. All right. See, I be sleeping on what people like. Trying to get my sound together. See again. Let me see where that comes from. Let's see if the sound is good now. Whoever's here, if the sound is okay, go ahead and drop that in the chat and say the sound is good. If the sound is too loud, I'll fiddle with it. You know, like 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 the Catholic Church does with the young until I get it right. Sorry, inappropriate joke. But we'll cover stuff like that in future episodes of Uppity Knickers. How we hand over our young over to religious institutions. You know what I mean? But okay, it seems like the sound might be okay. Give me a minute. Let me check now. All right. Let's see. Pause that. And yes, I'm this petty. Like 5 or 6 of you in here. I need 5 or 6 likes. That's how petty I am. But yeah, how many of you are following the Derek Chauvin case? Because this dovetails into what we're about to discuss. One of the things we're about to discuss, the main topic, which is topic number 3. The main topic that we will be discussing tonight is how we supplicate or beg racist people to acknowledge our worth, our value. Okay, now how that relates to the Derek Chauvin case is that suddenly we're asking the dominant society to understand when black people are suffering from addiction, for example. See, when the CIA dropped crack into the black community during the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, right? Suddenly it was a war on drugs, right? Lock those niggers up. But now, when it's mostly white people on these sorts of drugs, there's a drug that I call the Muhammad drug. Sorry for those of you who are Muslim, but I have to call it that because I went downtown where I live at. I went downtown, and you know, it was miles and miles full of addicted white people who were collapsed on the floor. They looked like they were praying. But their addiction We understand their addiction. Suddenly it's about compassion. It's about compassion. You know, before that, it was lock those niggas up when it was mostly black people. So now to get back to the Derek Chauvin case, if you've been involved in any way on Twitter, you've heard how these heartless people have gone through. Well, he was just an addict who died from fentanyl. Da, 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 da. And there was zero compassion, zero empathy, zero sympathy, nothing, no relation, right? As a human being. But suddenly, to humanize George Floyd, the girlfriend took the stand and she told about how she was addicted to fentanyl and other assortments of drugs that both she and George Floyd were addicted to. Suddenly we understand addiction. See, it wasn't enough, when George Floyd was addicted to fentanyl. He was an animal, right? He was an animal, and good for him that he's dead. But now that a white woman is addicted to the same thing and suffered the same malady, now we're allowed to have compassion. See, that collective racism, I don't specifically know where it comes from, but that collective racism, it's, let me see who was in here. Someone is in here. Music group. Latin Kings are. Hold on one second. Topics on this. They're in the section. What up, Viva? Viva up in here. Let's see, music only account. The topics are in the drop down section and the YouTube on the YouTube page. But just in case, I'm gonna relay them anyway. Give me a minute. All right, because someone asked, here we go. The topics for tonight's Uppity Knickers broadcast are the Derek Chauvin trial. Has anyone been keeping up with the Derek Chauvin trial? The Derek Chauvin trial. You see, before this, wait, before I even go into that, all right, the Derek Chauvin trial. The second topic is Hispanics joining the side of white supremacy against black people. Okay. The third topic is we gotta, fam, we gotta stop. We gotta stop arguing our worth with people who think we're worthless. Okay, so let's go with topic one right now, and then as you guys trickle in, and maybe somebody comes on the panel, we can start discussing these things. Right. So topic one, the Derek Chauvin trial. Suddenly, because certain people are coming in there, like the EMT worker, the emergency medical treatment person. Give me a second here. Right. The emergency medical treatment person who was on the sidelines when they were murdering George Floyd right in front of the entire world, what would turn out to be the entire world on that video cell phone footage. She brought a lot of humanity to it because, one, she was white. And again, the dominant society. Hey, truth teacher, what's going on? The dominant society, they can only acknowledge your value and your worth as a human being if another white person says so. So that lady, when she took the stand and she, nearly wept, she either wept outright or she nearly wept, right? When she took the stand, then it was okay to grieve for George Floyd. Because before that, right, before that, every time we would grieve for George Floyd on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, what would be the dominant narrative? Why are you guys celebrating the life of a criminal, right? Not the fact that, oh, this guy's life as a human being was taken too soon, right? No, why are we celebrating a criminal? As if they don't have whole entire movies dedicated to Al Capone and Lucky Luciano. Okay? Now, when we begin to analyze this thing, it comes from a place of, please notice me, master. Okay? We keep asking representatives from the white supremacist dominant society to acknowledge that we have worth. The Derek Chauvin trial is yes, Scarface, for example, music only fans, very good example, right? As if we don't have whole movies like that out here. Okay? And other movies low key celebrating Hitler. You guys familiar with this? Where they would have like movies where they're kind of going against Hitler, right? But they're low key saying, "Oh, what a brilliant man," right? He had these brilliant plans and he nearly took over the world. What a brilliant mind. These people are low key celebrating their villains. But once we, on the flip side of that, right? Godfather's a very good example also, Johnny Mills. Yes. Once we do that on the flip side of it, then it's a problem. It's a problem. And we don't even do it in a glorification kind of way. We only do it for like, okay, look, you killed us out in the street like dogs. Will you acknowledge that? No. Not until another white person says it's okay. Like the EMT worker, like George Floyd's girlfriend, like the chief of police, no, not chief of police, the guy who trained Derek Chauvin, who said, nah, Derek's on his own with this shit. I ain't never teach him to put this knee on top of anyone's neck. And he's totally right. Family, can you, by a show of participation in the comment section, please let me know when last you saw a police officer kneel on someone's neck during an arrest. I haven't seen it. If they knee on someone at all, it's on the small of their back, and then the palms of their hands are on the person's shoulder blades, pressing them down to kind of like forcefully restrain them. That's what I've seen. But the other thing, that was an execution. So we want to talk about that tonight. What the world will look at, what the world will look like. Let's say what the world will look like post the Derek Chauvin trial. Make no mistake about it. It's not only the trial of the century, or dare I say the millennia. This trial will change everything. Not in the way that it's going on right now, developing at the moment, but for what it means during its aftermath. If Derek Chauvin walks right now, do you have any idea what that means? That means the broader general society of white people, they don't give a damn what you say you gonna do. They don't give, like, oh, you gonna riot? So well. You gonna loot? Oh well. They don't give a damn what you say you're gonna do. They don't give a damn how you value yourself. They don't give a damn what you've contributed to this society as a whole or as individuals. This trial, the end of it, will mean a whole lot of things to a lot of people. Now, if he loses and he goes to prison, even those things, there are nuances in them. If he loses and he goes to prison, right? The length of time he serves in prison also determines the aftermath of this thing. Let's say they do something really screwed up, like they did with Jason Van Dyke, when the judge turned around after all the grueling efforts that the people did to get this officer convicted. The officer went on there on the stand and lied his ass off for like 10, 20, 30 minutes when he took the stand on his own behalf. The guy was filibustering. The prosecution was showing him videos, and he was like, "No, I don't see anything," because the monitor was turned off. Oh, very funny. Ha 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 ha. Let's waste everyone's time. Let's waste the court's time. Why don't you press power on the monitor like we expect you to do. Did you expect the prosecutor to say, okay, Mr. Van Dyke, please press the power on the monitor now so you can see the video and analyze how you dumped 13 bullets into, hey, what up, Sundown? How you dumped 13 bullets into the body of this kid. Okay? He filibustered and wasted everyone's time. He was burning daylight. This dude sat up there, burned daylight, wasted everyone's time. And at the end of it, when we all, I'd say the dominant society, the broader society of righteous people made noise online, we made noise in the street. Like, look, we know the kid, he was in the wrong, but you don't dump 13 bullets in him in his body and then watch him twitch. Like, that's not, you're no longer human at that point. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're no longer a human being at that point. Like, maybe you're a cyborg or a robot or an android or some sort of automaton, because there's no connection there anymore. You're not seeing a human being that you're putting all these bullets into. Okay? We, as the broader society of righteous people, we made noise. And I'd say jury had no choice. They were like, look, we got to do the right thing here. Too many people are watching this, and they're bringing up common sense, points. They're bringing up common sense points. And so they found this man guilty, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But the judge turned around, and that's why I'm saying the aftermath of this thing is not only the verdict, but how much time Derek Chauvin's going to serve. Because Jason Van Dyke, the judge turned around and said, oh, let him serve 80 months. What's that, something like 5 years? You see, like, okay, and he was sentenced to 5 years, and then he will serve 2 years, 2.5, and then he'll go for parole. And then he'll probably come out and work where he was taking black lives, in an official capacity as a police officer. Now he'll be taking black lives in an unofficial capacity in the private sector. Okay? Jason Van Dyke, after he serves 2.5 years, he's going to come out and he'll probably work for a private military contracting agency or private security. Okay, so he'll go right back to being a race soldier and waging Rahowa. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, Rahowa means racial holy war. It's the unofficial continuation of the Crusades. The Crusades never ended, not according to the white supremacists. Muslim against Christian against Jews, that stuff never ended. They're calling it Rahowa. Okay? And low key, anytime they infiltrate these places and then they start gunning people down, they start doing things like picking on soft targets. How cowardly do you have to be to pick on little children and old ladies like Dylan Roof? But Dylan Roof, he took one for the team. He's a proud race soldier, waging Rahowa. Okay? So this, if you go back to the Derek Chauvin trial, the aftermath of this thing is going to tell a whole lot. The aftermath is going to tell a big story. How we treat each other as a society going forward. Asians are finally getting their, two things that Asians are getting. They're getting their, non-white wake-up call. Okay, for a long time, many Asians look down on black people in general and black Americans specifically. We've come here, with nothing. How come we can climb to the top of corporate ladders? We can get our businesses going on, and then you Negroes have been here for about 300-400 years, and you've accomplished nothing. Okay, now you're a model minority. Okay, that's fine. But now, in 2021, you're finding out unofficially white is not the same thing as actually white. Okay? Unofficially white is not the same thing as actually white. And I feel, I have complete sympathy and empathy and sympathy for what they're going through, where they're being attacked right now. But I also want you guys to keep in mind that the media narrative is what's the big difference now. Growing up, Asians were always getting picked on. Asians have always been one of the things that in my hood used to be a common occurrence would be for people to order Chinese food, right? And catch a Chinese delivery guy slipping. It was like common. Like it's some shit you do Sunday night. Okay. So you order some food, dude shows up there, and you know he's a delivery guy. You know, probably on his bike or his moped or whatever. So you know he's got change with him because you're on a long route of deliveries that he's doing. So he got some paper. Okay, he got some paper. So you rob him for his paper. When it got really heinous and egregious, you know, some of these people they got killed. They got killed. But it's always been happening. And it's always been wrong. It's not only now that it's wrong. Make no mistake, people. Beating up on Chinese people is not wrong now because it's on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. It's not. It hasn't started being wrong now. It's always been wrong, and it's always been happening. The weird thing about the footage that we're seeing that people like conspiracy theorists like Tariq Nasheed are bringing up, and it's hard to blame him for this. It's hard to fault him, is that these um these attackers have commonalities. Have you guys noticed that they're all wearing some sort of pink? Why are they all dressed like pimps? One guy had a hat and a pink shirt. This new guy who beat up everyone in front of that hotel, he had kind of like a beige pink shirt. People, we have to understand and realize and acknowledge psyops when we see them. Okay, something's actually going on here, and usually psyops are military. It's a military term, but it's very pertinent and pointed here and important here because private firms like the news media outlets have taken on militaristic tactics and methods. Okay, massive amounts of psyops are being done. There are a lot of videos on YouTube where you can come in there and uh, you can see like compilations of news outlets saying the same thing, repeating a narrative word for word for word for word. Okay, and we'll get into that in another uppity niggas broadcast where it's yeah, Viva. Yeah, the pink shirt thing is kind of interesting, right? And that's two dudes like that. I haven't seen the rest of them and see what they're wearing, but it's two dudes in a row, randomly attacking, right? And wearing a pink shirt. Okay. Now the thing is with psyops, they're usually experiments anyway, right? If they're used, if they're actually used in warfare, it's just called psychological warfare. But when it's being used for analysis, so that you can get data and then refine your methods, it's basically experimentation. So maybe the experimentation here, because let's not forget that we just had a whole 2 years of an experiment, whether you believe it or not. Okay, I personally believe it, but I won't say it. YouTube being what it is, I won't say the name of the thing because it'll trip up the algorithm, and you know the stream might get taken down. Right? We just had a whole 2 years of the beer bug being an excuse for people to tell you what to do. Not saying that the beer bug doesn't exist. I'm saying like it has been used for the last year and a half to 2 years to tell you what to do. If any aliens land right now, they'll find this strange that everyone, any continent, people are wearing masks. And I'm not saying not to wear masks. I'm saying I don't even know how to verbalize this for it to register. That when you go on Twitter and then you say something even remotely related to, hey, is this thing real? Which it is, but you certainly have the right to question it. If you go on there and you say anything even remotely like that, they have something in the algorithm that puts a step in between you writing it and you posting it. They didn't do that with anything else except the election. During all the stuff that was happening with the election, whenever you posted anything about was there stolen, was there cheating, was there voter miscounts, da 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 da, the Twitter engine asked you, hey, be careful of blah 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 blah, and they're doing the same thing with this, beer bug. You know, so psychological warfare being waged on us. I kind of went off on a tangent, but okay. So that's the Derek Chauvin trial. I'm hoping if the link is in the it's posted. The link to the StreamYard is posted up. So if anyone wants to jump in or has a minute or whatever, wants to drop in and chime in on what's going on, you're perfectly welcome to do so. The second topic is Hispanics joining the side of white supremacy against black people. Okay. Now, this is kind of like a sensitive topic because a lot of my friends are Hispanic. I sound like one of these racists. Oh, I got plenty of black friends. Lots of my friends are black people, right? So a lot of my friends are Hispanic. Okay. And like the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications if you're on any social media platform. Go ahead and drop a link to this video and drop a link to this channel in general so that we can grow this thing, right? So I have a whole lot of Hispanic friends. Okay. Now, those Hispanic friends, both online and offline, and associates and stuff like that, like, Radical Latino, Viva Bella Extina, other people. I think let me not start naming names, right? When we start to consider that you have George Zimmermans out there, right? You have that guy in New York who sat on a black guy just for asking him, like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you hitting these people who are standing in front of their building? And then he slapped them up, threw them on the ground, and sat on them, right? So you have people like this who seem to be joining the white supremacists and putting their boot on the back of black people, right along with their white supremacist overlords. Okay. And we see this happen often and over and over. And so we have to ask ourselves, do we want these people as part of anything that we got going on? Because we're working on a lot of things. Okay. Me and the people I just mentioned and other people who are Hispanic, we're working on a lot of things. So I'm not really talking about them. Okay. Not really talking about them. But Hispanic people are basically part of the black experience in America, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not. Okay? You're treated like black people, but you're not given the amount of deference as we give black people now, because black people have made a very strong headway. The entire world screeched to a halt for the George Floyd thing. A lot of Hispanic people were asking if it was not George Floyd, but if it wasn't George Floyd and it was Jorge Gonzalez, would the world come to a screeching halt? There's no Hispanic lives matter, is there? Right? So a lot of Hispanic people have been asking this, and a lot of them are asking it in a tone of jealousy. One of the guys who came in and one of the live streams that we have that we've had featuring Radical Latino and other people who were on there, one of the guys came in and he said, black people are only about 13% of the population. Why are they all over television? And the amount of hatred and jealousy that was in there, it was jarring. It was jarring. So he doesn't want us to be in sitcoms anymore. He doesn't want us to be in action movies, Black Panther, The Matrix. He doesn't want to see that stuff anymore because we're being overrepresented on the screen. He doesn't want to see. Now again, here's the flip side to that. He has no problem seeing black people overrepresented in the penal system, right? He has no problem seeing black people being the most dense population in prison. No problem with that. That overrepresentation is fine with him. It's fine by him. But positive overrepresentation, like being on TV, being a scientist on TV, being a researcher on TV, being an action adventure star on TV, being an action star like Blade or Hancock. He has a huge problem with it. Black Panther must have driven him insane. Every time, like people came on there and said, it's not a movie, it's a movement. Now the thing is, I don't usually get swept up in these things, but that was kind of clever. That was slick. Okay, so that's the second topic. If anyone wants to jump in here and talk about that. The third topic and main topic here. Hold on one second. Let me read some of this. Let me read some of these. Music only account. I'm starting to think that the idea of a brown-black unity for certain. Hold on. I'm starting to think the idea of a brown and black unity for certain reasons. Yeah. I mean, can you elaborate on that? Music only account can benefit both of us. Hey, that's what we've been saying. Over on the black side, we've been saying this forever. We've been saying this forever, but you got, Dominican Renaissance saying he wants to link up with the Asians. No, that was the guy with the awful rap music that Radical Latino gave a clap back to. Oh, Hermano Perspective. He said he wants to link up with Asians. He says that linking up with black people are a weak minority, and that in order to become stronger, Hispanics have to link up with the Asian minority community. Now, family, this guy is supposed to be high IQ. And he 1 second. I had to do a black girl thing. I had to adjust my seat and fix my wig to go in. Family, this is a guy who every 2 or 3 sundown says Radical needs to stop feeding trolls. Yeah, I feed trolls too. We should stop doing that though, sundown. Every 2 or 3 streams, this guy, Hermano Perspective, comes on there bringing up debunked interpretations of statistics. Numbers are what they are. Side note, numbers are what they are. So when you bring up numbers like, okay, this amount of people were beaten up by black people and they're white, this amount of people were beaten up by white people and they're black, numbers are what they are. Okay, numbers don't lie. People lie. So hold on 1 second, Truth Teacher about to jump up in here. What's going on, Truth Teacher?
Yo, what's up?
What up?
So, I just wanted to chime in.
Absolutely. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So,
Disagree with anything I'm saying.
What happened?
No, feel free to disagree with anything I'm saying.
I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, go ahead.
But, with regard to these people who are upset about seeing African Americans having certain advances, representation, here's the thing that everybody needs to understand. African Americans are not an immigrant group. Okay? They've been here since before the Mayflower, okay? They've been here just as long as the Europeans have been. They have fought in every major war that has been fought on this soil. They are part of the foundation of this country. So you cannot come here and try to compare these people to another immigrant group. They're part of the foundational population of this nation. Two completely different things. Now, Latinos, and like these terms that we use, I mean, they're really inaccurate because it's such a broad umbrella term, lumping so many different people in so many different cultures under this one umbrella, right? But for the most part, Latinos are new to this country. They don't have the history of fighting for freedom and rights that African Americans do. African Americans have been fighting for well over 400 years. You got to take that into consideration.
Facts.
So
Facts.
when you compare like 100 years of experience in this country to 400, you can't. So whatever African Americans have, they put in the time. They put in a shitload of time to get where they are now. It ain't like somebody just rolled over out of bed one day and said, you know what? We need more African Americans on TV. No, they've been fighting for well over 400 years to get what they have. So how can you criticize them for that? Now, hermano perspective, or perspectiva hermanita, as I like to call it.
Oh God. Oh God. Sorry.
Supposed to have high IQ. Dumb as dumb shit. Listen, I just
What? I'm sorry. God.
I just finished going toe to toe with him under his video that he did responding to Radical.
Oh, it's clapback?
No, not that one. The one when he was talking about, you know, his DNA analysis of Africa and all of this horse shit.
Wow.
Basically, he's trying to claim that, quote unquote, Negroes are a new race and that they're admixed with Eurasians. And the Africans that left in the out of Africa expansion were not Negroes, because Negroes didn't exist until like what, 4,000 years ago.
Now, I'm sorry. He said what now? That who's a new race? African Americans?
Negroes in
Negroes. Negroes where?
In Africa. First of all, I don't know what the fuck a Negro is. There are no Negroes in Africa. You can search the map. You will find Yorubas. You will find Mandinkas. You'll find Ashantis. There are no Negroes. Okay?
Yeah.
That does not exist in Africa, all right? Or whatever. Now, there has been research that shows that there has been back migration into Africa. We all know this. And subsequently, there's certain populations in Africa who've been more exposed than others to non-African gene flow, let's just say. So even when you go to certain places in West Africa, you'll find like very small trace amounts of this non-African DNA. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The migration history of Africa is very complex. And you got to remember that the Sahara was not always a desert. It was green for a long time.
Yeah.
It only started drying up like about 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Now, if you look at the line of latitude, the same desert band that we have today that extends into Western Asia, when the Sahara was green, that part of the world in Western Asia was also green. So yeah, you did have people who migrated back into Africa, and they were in parts of the Sahara. But they didn't come and find an empty place. There were already people living there. And yes, so there was, you know, interbreeding, whatever. in certain populations. Now, when the Sahara dries up, where are people going to go? You're going to go looking for more greener pastures. So where are you going to go? You're going to move up to the coast, to the Mediterranean coast. You're going to move into the Nile Valley. And some are going to move down into West Africa. So
Yep.
you're going to have that residual mixture, you know? But if you look at those people, I mean, come on, it's like you're looking at Africans. And here's the thing that always interests me. Everybody want to get their panties wet when they come up with a DNA report saying that, you know, East Africans have Asiatic, you know, or as they say, Eurasian ancestry. Answer me this. Why the fuck nobody's panties is getting wet when we know that African Americans or Africans in the Western Hemisphere, on average, have anywhere between 25 to 35% Eurasian ancestry?
Mm-hmm.
How come nobody's pussy's tingling then, right? You know?
Yeah.
So he's claiming that the reason why Africa is the home to so much genetic diversity is because of this Eurasian admixture. Now, here's where you know he's a dumbass, because he doesn't understand the way genetics work. The reason why Africa has the most genetic diversity in the world is because that's where the oldest populations are located.
Yeah.
Okay. All humanity came out of Africa.
Yeah. Truth.
You get
Facts.
genetic diversity because of the length of time, and it happens at regular intervals. Every so often, you get a genetic mutation. It's happening at regular intervals of time. So the populations that have been on the planet the longest are the ones that are going to have the most genetic variation. So whatever Eurasian gene flow came back into Africa only added to the diversity that was already there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, dumb as dog shit. You know, talking about Caucasian this and Caucasian that. Miss me with this bullshit. Oh, well, you know, we can tell they were Caucasian by the shape of the nose and the shape of the scar.
Yeah. Basically, he's appealing to the Blumenbachian, model, where during the age of scientific racism, where they swept across the planet measuring people's skulls. That's the Kool-Aid he's drinking. There was another YouTuber who stopped by one of the streams that we were having, and she was basically defending the term Bantu, where if somebody doesn't want to be called Bantu, maybe you shouldn't call them that. The people in South Africa have a long history of saying, hey, don't call us that. Don't call us that. It doesn't matter where the name comes from, because what they're saying is, especially this YouTuber who stopped by, she was saying, well, the people themselves called themselves that before white people got there. Okay, fine. That's fine. That's where the word comes from. Arguably, that's fine. But how it was used during apartheid and beyond, that's something that they don't want anymore. And if people don't want to be called that thing, why are you calling them that thing? You know what I mean? So when let me go back to some of these topics here. When we're discussing these sorts of things, it's important to understand that the back programming of it, not necessarily you or myself, but people in general, like our people in general, black and brown people, when they're sitting here negotiating or asking people to, hey, consider this, consider that, people, the Nubian people were right next to Egypt, da, 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 da. All that stuff, the back programming of it is, master, please accept me. That's why I no longer want to argue Egypt with these people. I no longer want to argue Egypt with these people. If you don't get by now that everyone was in Egypt, that Egypt was an intersectional empire. When you have empires that are in between other empires, you'll have an influx of different people from different places. You know, universe trip. No, not universe trip. Definitely not universe trip, King. Give me a second. Hold on one second. Let me see. Uh, no, it wasn't King Two. It wasn't Universe Trip. It was somebody else. Universe Trip. She knows better, and she's more hardcore than I am. Believe it or not. You know what I'm saying. I'm hardcore for
Can I
I go hard in the paint for African Americans. Universe Trip is like me times 100. All right. So
can I can I
yeah. I'm
address
sorry. Go ahead.
really quick?
Yeah. Sure.
Because you made this comment. Mexicans have been in America before. African American and white Americans, Latinos are new to this country. Are Lat, Latins? I don't know. Okay, whatever the fuck. Okay, I get the gist of what he's saying. Okay, so King Two, this is what you got to understand. When the Spaniards got off the first ships that came here to the Americas, that landed in the Bahamas, and Hispaniola, or what came to be known as Hispaniola, Africans were with them. When the Spaniards landed in Florida, Africans were with them.
Truth.
They
Yep.
were
Truth.
African
Facts.
American.
Facts.
Furthermore, okay, so Mexicans, I mean, like, look, Mexicans are, the original Mexicans are Native American. We get that. We get that, under the Spanish colony, a lot of what is in the West was Mexico. But if we're talking about the majority of the country, African Americans were here. Okay, California, Arizona, and all of this is territory that was added to the United States. But we can't forget the 13 colonies and all of those other land, parts of the country that became the United States. African Americans were here from the very beginning. So
Let me chime in on here for a minute.
whole different situation.
Hold on, King Two, KINGT 2. Listen, I don't want to hear nothing about. You're probably of that extraction, right? You're mestizo, Mexican, or whatever. You're probably one of those trolls who keep doing this. I don't want to hear anything about y'all being here before black people, okay? Because you guys really sat down and took every kind of whipping that came your way. It took Gaspar Yanga to come all the way from Angola, him being royalty and kidnapped. That's another thing that people don't realize with Africans who were brought over here. Many of them were royalty. They were betrayed by fellow tribes people, however, whatever the situation was. And when they were brought over to the Western Hemisphere, they understood the universal language for submission. That's why they would not change their name. And we know with the famous Kunda Kente. Oh, hold up one second. Here's the truth. Here's the other thing that keeps pissing me off. He just put the West Coast wasn't U.S. territory until the Spanish. Okay, I thought he was talking about the coast of Africa. But the language of submission is almost universal, not only across the human extraction, but across species. Okay, if you endanger if you encounter a black bear, either a black bear or a brown bear, one of those, I'll have to double check, but one of those bears, the way that you want to ward them off to leave you alone is you have to stand up on your tiptoes, raise your hands high above so that you look bigger than what you are. If you show, if you make any gestures of submission, that animal understands that. And then he'll come in and take advantage of you. Okay? The language of submission. These Africans who were captured by their fellow tribes people in wars or whatever, and then they were brought over here, they understood what the language was. And that's why Gaspar Yanga, being of royalty back in Angola, wherever the hell he was from, when he came here, he understood all those languages, because those things, many of that stuff, kneeling, bringing yourself down, like lowering yourself before another being, that's a language of submission. It doesn't matter that the Portuguese or the Spanish didn't speak Mandinka or Swahili, whatever the hell Africans spoke when they were approached by the European. It doesn't matter that they didn't understand the verbal language. They understood, both parties understood the language of submission. You dropped to one knee, that's submission. You lowered yourself before another being. The Japanese, they knew what's up. They made this white boy really like scrape the ground with his forehead, and they called it kowtowing. They understood the language of submission, and they knew that this white boy, that's the only language he understands. Two of them, two languages he understands: violence and submission. So I don't want to hear nothing about you bringing up the mestizos. Look, y'all didn't resist when y'all were here. Y'all didn't resist enough. There were pockets here and there, but y'all didn't resist enough. It took Black Americans to resist, and Black Western people, Western hemispheric people, right? Like imported Africans, like Gaspar Yanga and those people, and those guys up in Brazil who went off, were kicking the Portuguese butts with capoeira, and then going up in the hills and starting, I forgot what they called them, quilombos. I think they called them quilombos in Brazil.
Yeah.
Quilombos. All right. Yeah. Hey, Denise, what's going on? Okay, y'all didn't resist enough. You should have, but you didn't. Sundown, shit, my bad. I was behind a few minutes. Hey, what's going on, Sundown? Yeah, look, it's okay, Sundown. We're discussing some of your non-favorite topics. We've somehow gotten into race again. But it's kind of like relevant to the main crux of Uppity Knickers, because I'm dovetailing it into why are we asking the evaluation of our worth to people who already think that we're worthless. Like the image here, that the thumbnail, that there's a story behind that thumbnail. Names have been changed to protect the identity of the innocent, but that was an actual thing that happened in a workplace where, I was employed, where this boss spent the better part of 14 months and never learned this Black girl's name. He never learned this Black girl's name. He called her all kinds of variations of what he believed that Black people named their children. Okay, and then when that girl wanted to, I forget what she wanted to do. I think she wanted to start a talent agency, because the place where I was at, I don't know if you guys understand this, but this whole thing with Nike, Reebok, and Pepsi, Coca-Cola, that's coastal shit. When you go deep in the country, that's like the new Wild West. You get to write your own ticket. If you have a business, hey, Sundown, what's going on? Sundown, you're very well traveled. I think you might chime in on this. This whole thing where we're on the coast, this is kind of like digression, but it falls in line with Uppity Knickers, where we are making plans to get things popping. Right, no more complaining. It's no longer time for problem talk. It's time. It's problem speak is over. Solution speak is what we're talking about, right? So, this whole thing where if you need a pair of sneakers, you go to Foot Locker, you get some Reebok, Nikes, etc. Right, Adidas. When I went deep in country, there were that stuff too, but people are more open to give you a chance. If you say got some brandless sneakers and then you put your logo on it, they were likely to give you a shot. Like, hey, what's those, right? And they're not like you know, you have a chance to be like an entrepreneur out there. I did a lot of compression outfits for guys who are into sports like running, track and stuff like that. I designed compression outfits, and they would come in from like Thailand, Okinawa, and all those places where they do it for cheap. And then the client would have me do the logos and designs on it, and then we would take it to a detailing company where they sew stuff on it, you know, embroidery and heat press and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, why are we why are we negotiating with people when all these opportunities exist out here? So the thumbnail, to go back to the thumbnail, that girl, the place where I was when I was employed by that company, um she wanted to start her own talent company, right? And she had the opportunity to do it, and she was very headstrong and determined. Not in a stubborn way, but like determined. And I could totally see her making it. I'll have to check up on her. You know, I still have her Facebook contact. I have to check up on her one of these days. But when she brought this up to the boss, right? He thought this boss was her friend. Okay, it was a white Hispanic boss. He thought this boss was, because she chops it up with him all the time, you know. And for some girl that you make jokes with all the time, one would think that you'd know her name. But you know, he gave no intrinsic value to this girl. Okay. And whenever we sit up here and we argue Egypt with these people, we argue, the American Revolution, how Crispus Attucks was the first man to take a bullet for this country, like in the name of
Black man too.
this country, right? And he was a black man, and hey, you should probably give some respect to African Americans, right? When we're sitting here arguing with these people, they already know the truth. Just like this girl, Sherelle, not her real name again. This like this girl Sherelle was asking this guy who she knows gave her no value anyway, was like, hey, how do you think I would do as a private business owner? Why are you asking him? Let's stop asking people to validate us when they give us no value to begin with. Just do it. White people, and not this is not a slight on white people in general, right? This is just the suspected white supremacist ones, right? They don't ask your permission to do anything. White people in general, not just the white supremacists, they don't ask your permission to do anything. They have two things: overt moves and covert moves. The overt moves, you got major corporations like Apple, Microsoft. I don't remember getting a memo of Steve Jobs asking my opinion and my permission to start Apple, or Bill Gates asking my permission and seeking my counsel to start Microsoft or steal Microsoft, depending on who you may ask. Right? Those are overt moves. Then there are covert moves. I just came from downtown, hanging out with some family, and they don't do Starbucks, family. With these covert moves, they have these little cafes. All right. Power, one of the tenets of power is the ability to exclude other people. So when white people have their cafes where they sit down, have their muffins and their little cinnamon latte, they don't do it generally in Starbucks. That's the overt way. The covert way is that they have a little blackboard sign out front and they write down the specials in chalk every day. All right. They have their little picnic tables out front of the building, right? And it's a nice, low, quiet place where they make quiet moves. Okay. We have to learn that sort of thing.
Yo, can I
Sorry,
say
for
something
talking
before
too
you?
long. Get Sunday. I'm
Nah.
sorry.
So here's one thing that I like to tell people. People, it kind of annoys me a little bit. So I'm pretty sure you two know this, but people act like, say, when people from Europe and people from wherever came to Africa, that we were just capturing people and selling them off. They don't understand what the tactic was. So there was a tactic behind it. So
Yeah.
you would have somebody from Nubia, right? You would have the Nubian Empire when the Nubians were a force to be reckoned with. When they would expand their territory, they would go in there, and once they conquered that territory, they would take the ruler, they would take the people in his cabinet, they would take his family, and they would sell them, so that way there wouldn't be any chance for them to form an insurrection. So it was a way to protect themselves. So it was like, all right, cool.
Facts.
This is my
Facts.
territory now. We're going to take these leaders and we're going to sell them off. So that way we don't have to worry about them staging a coup later on down the road.
Facts.
And that's how they've always done it.
But this is something
So,
that's happened around the world, not just in Africa. This was
yes, that's what it was. Yes, that was the original tactic. But when you hear certain people, they'll be like, "Oh no, they were just running around and just capturing people and selling them off just because money." No, there was a tactic behind it. The same thing in Europe in medieval times. When they would capture a new territory, they would kill all they would kill the king, the queen, and the family. So that's not something that's barbaric, that is only on the African continent. And it makes me upset a little bit. And that's why I don't like talking about it, because I feel like a lot of people are misinformed and a lot of people, they parrot things. So Truth Teacher might say something. I'll take what Truth Teacher said. I'll say it. You'll say something that I said. Then next thing you know, it's 10 people that saying something completely different, because they didn't actually research it. They're just going off of what other people say. So when I do talk about slavery and people say, hey, the Africans, they sold their own slaves, or they sold their own people, for money. It's like, no, that's not why they did it. It was a strategic move behind it.
Yes.
But even the whole concept of your people. I mean, okay, if we're going to use that logic, then World War I, World War II, and all of the wars in Europe was Europeans killing their own people. You see how that works?
Yes. Look, I tell people all the time. Listen. I didn't get into it, but I kind of talked to somebody, and they were like, "Well, you know how like animals, they have least what is it? No concern, or least concern, endangered, extinct in the wild, extinct in captivity as well. You know how they have that classification for animals, like lions are near threatened, tigers are endangered
species.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you know that white people are the lowest percentage of people in the world. It's Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Europeans are the smallest number of people when you exclude Hispanics, and you put Hispanics in their own little category. So non-Hispanic whites are the lowest population on the earth, right? And people will say, well, it's because low birth rates. They'll be like, well, it's because of the Jews. It's because of whatever, right? What they won't admit is, if you go back the last 150 years, look at all the major wars that have happened and who were the spearheads behind those wars. World War II.
Yep.
Look at the casualties there.
Mm-hmm.
World War I. Look at the casualties there.
The Napoleonic.
Vietnam.
The Napoleonic Wars.
Look at Stalin. How many people did Stalin kill under his regime? Think of.
And those were his own people. Okay.
Yes.
Those were like upper Russians that he was killing. So, hey, if we want to talk about people doing their own people dirty,
yes, but
plenty of examples.
Those were legit his own people right there.
Yes, those were legitly his own people. So when you think about it, Europeans have been Europeans' worst enemies as far as population because of all of the wars. You can blame who you want to blame, but at the end of the day, a huge chunk of your own percentage is gone because of war.
Yeah. Of
So
your own doing.
I'll bring that up to people. And either they'll change the subject or they'll go back to no, that's not true because it's low birth rates because we're in first world nations and usually when people earn more they reproduce less. Nah, that's partially true, but you also got to admit that over the past 100 years you've killed millions upon millions of your own.
Yep.
But next time somebody talks about just them being a low percentage, bring up the fact that it was war, and they'll either shoot it down or they'll say, well, it's because of the people that are in charge. But that's still not taken away from the fact that you've had two world wars, Vietnam, Korea, other infighting from other European countries. You had the whole what was that? It was in 98, 99, Kosovo and Serbia. Like,
Oh yeah, man, that
there's
stuff is
been,
still going on as far as I know. Like they still have all kinds of
yeah,
ethnic, yeah, and they got legit slavery going on over there where they're trafficking these girls. Like it's a whole bunch of girls being trafficked. And if you want like a not that I check, but I'm saying like if people who want to sexually exploit people, they go into those kinds of places too. Where
yes,
and the organized crime and all that stuff. I'm gonna bring that stuff up. What you just mentioned, I'll bring that
like
stuff up next time. Next time
just bring
people
up.
like, no, I'm gonna bring that up next time. This guy, Hermano, brings up what about black on black crime. I'm gonna bring that up. What about black on black crime? All right, cool, man.
You know what I don't understand?
People who I'm sorry, go ahead, truth. What you say?
Why do people expect Africans to behave any differently than any other human population?
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
It's real. It's funny, man.
shit. People do fuck shit. So
Yeah.
like, why would you be surprised if you see a group of Africans doing some fuck shit? They're human. Humans are fucking messy and complicated. What don't you understand?
Yeah, but the thing is, the worst part about that is, it doesn't matter how many little cliques and gangs. Because in Chicago, I'm hearing that it's not gangs, it's cliques, just like New York at certain points. Chicago, no matter how many, every month or so, this guy gets shot, that guy gets shot. When you add all that up, it's not even a tear in a bucket or in an ocean compared to what Stalin did to his own people.
Oh yeah.
This dude Stalin, he had soldiers go into rural areas. I always find it hard to say the word rural. He had like his soldiers go into rural areas and where people stored grains and rice, and he made them bring the sacks out, and then what he could not have brought back to him, he had them burn it. He was forcefully starving those people.
Yeah.
What about black on black crime? Really? Stalin.
So let me say something really quick.
Mhm.
To King
Absolutely.
King
Oh,
Two.
to King.
Yes.
All right, let me bring up what he
So
said here.
listen. Yes, that is an issue. Low birth rates are an issue, but you also got to take into account over the past 100 years, when you've killed millions of your own people off, and you're
Hmm.
having low birth rates, you're doomed to be a low population. It would
Yeah.
take uh, almost every how many white people are in the
I
world?
mean,
Like 600 million?
yeah, but this is what I'm talking about.
It would
Why
take
are we?
the average, yeah,
No,
it
no,
would
no.
take
Here's
for
the
them to
thing.
get,
Sit down.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right, so now give me a minute. Give me a minute. That's what I'm talking about. What are we discussing this with? And it's either King too. It's either you're really that ignorant or you're trolling. Why are we arguing this with you when like that's telling you the sky is up, the ground is down, water's wet? Have you read the accounts of the people who went to World War One? Not even World War Two, where they brought up the real weapons of mass destruction, but World War One, the one right before that. Did you read the accounts where these guys were saying that they were choking on the stench of dead bodies across those fields? Like nothing but waves and waves of dead young men of all nationalities, the Prussians, the Russians, the Germans, the Austrians, the French, all these different factions who picked a side and then basically bayoneted each other from trench to trench. And then like some of these accounts are like, writing back to their wives at home, I choke on the stench of dead bodies. So I don't understand how you're talking about low birth rate being a result of liberal when the man just sat here and told you the truth about why your birth rates are low right now, which is you offed each other at an unprecedented rate historically. It's nothing but your own fault.
But here's the other thing about low birth rates. I mean, we got to take the economy into consideration. If you're living in an urban area and you have certain economic restraints, you're not going to be having a whole bunch of kids. Where you find large, family groups is like in rural areas. Why? Because you need more hands to work the land. If you're living in an urban area, why the hell are you going to be having, churning out 12 and 13 kids? In an economy where you need both the husband and the wife to go out there and work just to keep your head above the water. Why you?
Hey, hold on, King. I'm not being hostile with you. I'm not being hostile with you. I'm just trying to make a point.
Maybe you was talking about me. I was being hostile with him. He got it straight.
You got to understand. If you didn't have World War II, World War I, Vietnam, all these other crazy, the war on terror, what Stalin did to his people, like think about it for a second. All those millions of people would still be alive. Well, they wouldn't still be alive. They wouldn't have died, and they would have reproduced.
Let's put it this way. There would have been a lot more. There would have been a lot more people alive having 2-kid families. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You would have had more people because of that. Even if they were having, smaller families, there would be a lot more people having families.
Yes.
Than not having families because now they're dead.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, like it's all part of the equation,
And that is one of the biggest issues right there. If you take that, look, if you take the wars away, the white population would be a lot higher than what it is now.
Yes. In fact, again, I don't know why we're King 2. I'm blown away that we have to explain this stuff to you. I'm blown away. We named an entire generation after what Sundown was talking about. You realize that the word baby boomer comes directly from that term? That so many of them died that when they started having kids again, the surviving population started having kids again, they called it a baby boom.
There's the reason why they call it a baby boom.
That poverty played a part in it too, but
There's the reason why they call it boom, because they said and they thought, damn, we are down X amount of million people, X amount of millions of people. That's what happened to. I mean, if you think about it, if you know anything about Neanderthals, the Neanderthal, they died out because they weren't reproducing.
Yeah,
well,
and they said that if there was a 10%
out of existence.
Yeah, But they were saying that if it was a
because
10%, if there was a 10% increase in birth rates towards the end, they would still have been alive for a lot longer than what they were. But you got to think about this, man. War kills millions, not just the people in the uniform, but you got to think about it. They were dropping bombs, they were killing civilians.
Yep.
A lot of people suffer, and sometimes you can do damage that can't be repaired. And
King 2. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, damage that can't be repaired. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
yeah, no, so that's the issue there, and that's the issue that a lot of people will like. Think about it. Think about it. How many white nationalists have you heard ever say, well, you know, our birth rates are low because in the past 120 years, we've killed so many of our own people?
No,
A
no.
lot of them won't say that. They'll
Yeah,
say
that would take
our
self
birth rates yeah,
introspection. Mhm.
our birth rates are low because people that wear small hats. Our birth rates are low because multiculturalism. Our birth
Mhm.
rates are low
Well,
because of first world problems.
he
Nah, man,
yeah. Look, he did that here. Hold on, let me bring this up because I was about to give him all the smoke for this comment. Not only killing million of your own, but other races of people, which make white women look at the white men as the bad guy and refuse to reproduce with them. Yo, it's not nobody else's fault. Nobody's making white women look at you any sort of way. If they look at you like that, maybe it's because it's true.
Hey, music only. Music only. That guy that you're talking about is rare because it's not a lot of people that are willing to bring that topic up. Now I have heard people say no more brother wars, and I'm thinking that might have something to do with it. But a lot of people
Yeah.
they won't bring up that fact that that is a major issue into what happened, or they might bring up war, but then they'll blame the people in charge and say that the people in charge wear small hats and they're
Mm-hmm.
the reason why countries are infighting. But it's like I brought this up to Rancho. I brought this up to Rancho. I said if because they like to use that scapegoat, they'll use those people as a scapegoat, and it's like okay, so one thing that they love to say is, well, they got kicked out of 109 countries. Okay, so if they got kicked out of 109 countries and you keep inviting those people back in and you know what their track record is, whose fault is that in the end? If I keep sticking my hand out and I know that there's a snake that's going to bite me and I let it bite me 109 times and then I bring that snake right back into my house, at that point, is it the snake's fault or is
Mm-hmm.
it my fault for letting the snake back in? You get where I'm
Facts.
going?
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to say here too, which is even though at Uppity Knickers we are discussing these things, but we're not necessarily anti-white. We're anti, I'd say, like white racists, right? Just like black racists, I don't necessarily have an affinity for them either. Okay. Now the thing is, I've spent enough time in the South to know that poor white people have no problem reproducing. All right, Billy Joe Bob, Billy Joe Bill Bob, has like 5 to 6 kids, and then those kids already are having kids. Okay, it's the problem is when these poor white guys are being sent to wars by the elites, and then they go kill other poor white people in other countries. That's what's bringing your population low. It's not it. Hold on one second. Denise says only 50% of white women marry, and from that 50%, there's a 38% chance they'll divorce. I wonder what's keeping them from marrying their men or any other men. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that going on, which I think modernism is really to blame for it because a lot of the stuff we're seeing on TV are basically convincing women they don't need men anymore. That you can have your own car, your own truck, and you see a lot of commercials too where it's like single moms and stuff like that, which has nothing wrong with being a single mom necessarily, but pushing that narrative, you'll get an outcome of it. People will start to think, people people are susceptible to imagery, right? So if you have like constant imagery of I don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. Pretty soon you'll just use men for sex, because you still have needs, but you know, you don't need no man. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, but yeah, I really hate talking about this stuff. Like it's so draining. And I'm not saying, look, nobody in the chat. I'm not talking about anybody in the chat. I'm not talking about YouTube. But it's like you can bring up points, and at the end of the day, you're talking to a wall because sometimes people's minds are made up to the point where it's like, all right, whatever. I'm just not going to talk. But that's all I want. Oh yeah, the second thing,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about the Egypt. Y'all were talking about Egypt back then. Look, there are a lot of races of people that aren't here anymore because they either bred out and diluted their bloodline, so now their bloodline is something completely different. Because look, the ancient Egyptians were around like how many years BC?
Yeah, a long time now.
With the conquering, with the Greece coming, the Romans coming, them mixing with Nubians, like an ancient ancient Egyptian at that time would not look like anybody in Western or Northern Africa today.
Yeah.
If you were to take a full-blooded ancient Egyptian and put them there, even the Egyptians don't look like the Egyptians.
Yeah, the modern Egyptians.
That depends on where you go. There's a lot but here's the thing, like Egypt, you got to remember, you're talking about a 3,000-year span of history, and it didn't remain static. So I mean, if you go to Egypt today, if you know what you're looking at, you can see a lot of the same phenotypes that you see in a lot of the statues and the artwork. They're still there, but everything else is there too. So if you want a history lesson, all you got to do is just stand on a street corner in Cairo and you'll see like the whole history of Egypt, like walk right past you. They're still there. So it's just that, it's like it's all of the above now, But when you go into like Upper Egypt, you'll see the physical type that was like the ideal, You'll see a lot of them there. And they have a very distinct look. If you hang around them long enough, you can distinguish them from other North Africans. They have very distinct looks,
facial features, structure.
Yeah, and you know that what you're looking at, you're not looking at a Moroccan, you're not looking at a Tunisian, you're not looking at somebody from Saudi Arabia. There's just something about it. It's like the shape of the eyes, the shape of the mouth. I don't know. It's something you have to become familiar with it, and then you know what it is that you're looking at.
Yeah, but that kind of proves Sundown right, because that race is not. You're seeing traces of it, but that race is gone now.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's gone.
But the thing is that even from the earliest times, like the people in Upper Egypt and the people in Lower Egypt were not necessarily the same population, because Lower Egypt, you always had that slow trickle of people coming in from Western Asia. But the culture that we know as ancient Egyptian originated down in the south, in northern Sudan and, southern Egypt. And that culture moved up and eclipsed like the culture that was in Lower Egypt. And so, you had the two lands being unified. And then once you had that happening, there was also internal migration within the country. So you had Northerners moving south and Southerners moving north,
Yeah.
So it's always been complex. And here's the thing, this concept of racial purity is something that isn't native to Africa or Africans. Nobody was given a fuck about that.
Yeah.
People identified by their nationality, by their culture.
Mhm.
And just because you had somebody who came from outside didn't matter because they would adopt your culture, so you would assimilate those people into your society and then they would become you, so that was what was most important. And you still see this around the world, like in different parts of Africa. Now, because things are becoming more global, you have Africans from different ethnic groups who are marrying foreign women, but they raise their children within the culture. So you have Igbos who may marry women in Finland, but best believe those kids are being raised Igbo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even
Well,
Which
like
is good. Which is good.
yeah,
even look,
and
even race. If you go around the world, I think the only because everybody's mixed now. Technology,
Yep.
things are
Everyone's
more
mixed
civil.
bag, man.
Everybody's mixed now. You won't find a single person that is 100% anything unless you go to like Sentinel Island, because
listen,
that's
Yeah, but
been
but but here it is, Sundown. Do you really want to find those people? Because when you find
no,
those people, like the
they'll die.
no, no, no.
If we
Here's the
made
thing.
contact with them, they'll die.
Yeah,
Go
oh,
ahead.
yeah. No, no, yeah, yeah. But I mean the people that you're talking about, the individuals, not the race of people, but like individuals who are not mixed with anything.
Yeah,
Eh, you've seen what the royal family up in England look like? They're mutants. All that, I don't
yes,
know if
because
it's
the incest.
interbreeding. Yeah, it must be all that incest, but keeping that race pure, that shit. How'd that work? How'd that work out, guys? How'd that work out? I mean, you look at somebody like there are two. Hey, Rad, what's going on, Rad? If you look at two people, they're two glaring example of why you may want a little bit of black or other admixture in your white people. Okay, two glaring examples, which are Daniel Craig and Benedict Cumberbatch. Those two men look like they look like Clay-Doh. It looked like
Yeah,
someone sculpted them out and got a failing grade. People outright called Benedict Cumberbatch ugly. They were like, he's ugly. Oh my God. And they sent him the tweets. Okay. These are people who are not mixed. And look how weird they look compared to everyone else. But then people that we normally think of as white, they got lots of other in them. They got Native American in them, they got black in them, and all kinds of other, extractions. Like George Clooney. George Clooney, it came out that he's a Melungeon. It's the French word for mix. We have Native American, black, white, Creole, and all sorts of things, and it makes that person. And you can tell because George Clooney, he has a very dark. I don't want to say swarthy. That's a derogatory term, but for lack of a better word, he has a very swarthy tone to him. That guy with a strong jawline who was dancing in like in a bunch of mid 2000s videos, and he's a movie star now. Shit, I forgot his name. He was in Kingsman 2. Oh
I
crap.
don't know.
Yeah, but that guy turns out he has a lot of black in him, and people thought he was black. People outright thought he was black. The guy who played Venom, he looks like there's some black in him. Eddie, no, that's Eddie Brock, the character, but I forgot. I'm at a loss for names right now. I don't think we want to
Play
find these
Bane.
people. Who?
No,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was
he
the
played Bane.
kid?
He played Bane too. Yeah. Ed
Tom
Hardy.
Hardy.
Is that his name? Ed Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Ed Hardy's a wrestler, right? Ed Hardy.
I had no
Ed-
idea.
hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. Radical Haitian. The Radical Haitian says, "Is this the real Radical Latino? Or is this the troll?" I don't know. Give me a minute.
But yeah, like it's like when you go back into medieval times, it was common for royals to sleep with their own. Like, I mean, they did it in Egypt too. Had
Nasty,
cousin
nasty,
wives,
And
nasty.
they and that's
cousin
where
wives,
people
brother
would
wives,
think.
or brother sister relationships, and they said that they think that what was his name, the famous, they made the HBO
King
series The
Tut?
Tudors.
Oh, two doors.
No, the
Okay, okay.
Tudors.
That,
The
yeah,
Tudors, with the
that's
whoever
close.
that
Yeah.
guy was based off of, they said he was psycho, but they
Wow.
think it was because he was a product of inbreeding.
Of
And one of the
inbreeding.
things that um, inbreeding creates is psychosis. Like, you'll have people that are psycho. Um, People think
Music,
that
music only.
Caligula, you know who Caligula is?
Yeah, that guy was psycho. Yeah, yeah, that guy was psycho. But he was a product inbreeding too.
They think he was a product of inbreeding.
Wouldn't shock me. I mean, isn't he the one who brought up who came up with the prima nocta rights? Basically, prima nocta for
I,
those of you who are listening. I'm sorry, go ahead. Something.
I just watched one documentary on him. I know that they said that he used to take a person, he would have a dinner,
Hmm.
and he would take a person's wife and have sex with her, and then come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and
that's prima
go
nocta.
into, like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
He
prima
stick
nocta.
it in
go
whatever he
into,
wanted to stick it in. He was all kinds of freaky.
Yeah, he was
but
sleeping with all kinds of donkeys and stuff like that too. Yeah.
I heard a theory that part of what was going on with them is was down to lead poisoning, because like no, for real, all the pipes were made out of lead, and
Wow.
a lot of their cups, like their drinking cups, were made out of lead
Lined with
too.
lead. Oh, that'll
So
fuck
hey,
you up.
music only is right. The Han Dynasty lasted for like 400 years, and people today, because I was really into like Chinese history. They had that whole the fall of the Han Dynasty, which brought up the whole Three Kingdoms story. But the Chinese still refer to themselves as Han. A huge percentage of them still refer to themselves as Han,
That's
even
fine.
though
yeah, but
the Han Dynasty fell in the ADs, the
they're
early
not,
ADs.
they're not as homogenous as people think. Because I mean, to us on the outside looking in, it looks like they're all the same, but when you're actually there, there's a whole lot of different ethnic groups in China,
Yeah.
so and then the Mongols came in, so not even there can claim to be quote unquote pure.
Yeah,
You have a
I
lot
just
of
know
different
that in
people.
mainland China, they still a huge percentage of Chinese people still call themselves Han Chinese, just from the
Well,
Han
I
Dynasty.
mean, okay, so well, look at it this way, right? You have a lot of people in the Middle East who call themselves Arab, but when you go back into history, they're really not Arab. They're people who were conquered by the Arabs, and then they adopted the language, and then they adopted that identity. But from a lineage point of view, they're not really Arab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for example, Egyptians and North Africans today, they're not Arab. They're North Africans who were Arabized, you know?
Mm.
So they've adopted an Arab identity. And even with Egyptians, it's very recent that Egyptians started identifying as Arabs, because
Yeah,
before Nasser came around, like Egyptians were not calling themselves Arabs. That was a tactic that Nasser used because he figured if everybody in the region was united under a common identity, they could stand up to Western imperialism.
uh, music music only. I think what killed America was capitalism. Money, 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 money.
Yep.
Yep.
We don't care who you are. We don't care who you are. If you can bring in money, good, and that's the fatal flaw
Yeah.
because
Well, I
America
mean,
is a capitalist nation.
I know, but I
Everything
would
is
say
money.
a perversion. I'd say a perversion of capitalism did that because I wouldn't necessarily want a completely socialist state either, or communist or socialist state either. I think maybe we need like a blend of the two, because obviously outright capitalism run amok is not helping. It's not doing us any favors. But um, I've seen nations who are, socialist and capitalist, and they have their own faults too. So I don't know what the happy medium is, but um definitely the perversion of capitalism is a huge problem here, where it's all about money. These people don't care about lives. They will dump uh, um their toxic waste in places so that they don't have to pay to have it properly disposed of, and well, breathing and drinking that stuff, but they're okay with it because they made their money and they saved money. It's insanity. As if we
Yeah,
got another place to go aside from this planet. That's crazy. The money will come and go. This planet's here to stay. Why not take care of it? But these people, the hyper capitalist one, and I think that's the word that I would describe it. Like, the United States has become hyper capitalist, because I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with uh doing a particular labor and being competitive in a market and having people pay for your service. I like that stuff, but the hyper form of it, I think that's where we went wrong.
yeah. Build it faster, build it stronger. Okay, just like what is one of the main complaints about what are jobs doing right now? They're outsourcing, right? You call you call for customer service and it's somebody in India, and I'm not saying that to be negative and talk bad about Indians, but you have people over there doing our jobs that Americans could do, but the reason why they're outsourcing is because they're cheaper and those corporations save more money
Yep.
when everything is said and done. So that's why they're doing it. They don't care about their people. They care about that dollar bill. And they're willing to destroy their own economy, or not destroy their own economy, destroy the very people of their nation just to save X amount of money in a tax write-off or X amount of money annually.
They don't give a fuck
So,
about.
like I said, that's the fatal flaw. That's the fatal flaw of
Yep.
America is money, money,
Yep.
money, money, money.
hmm Yeah, like, capitalism's done us no favors, man. The sheer amount of times when I've seen companies, not even the major corporations, but even like the mid-tier ones, just totally disregard humanity, or the human strain or experience in favor of, cold hard cash. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Where, like, even when, like, they donate stuff, it's for promotional reasons, which comes up as money. Christmas is coming up, so, we're having a free toy drive. Yeah, it's for promotion for the company, and it's to make
Yeah,
more money. Yeah, that's just stuff is crazy, man. But at the same time, we live in it, and I think we got to try to climb up, man. Like, make some money. Currently, I think one of the key problems that the black community has is the unwise, let's call it unwise use of our funds. Like, we have the money, we have, I forgot what the number was, but, as far as an expenditure, or we have a lot of money in the black community, but it
Do
goes
you know? Do
towards,
you know what black women spend their money on? Do you know what uh the number one thing that black women across the U.S. what they spend their money on? Do you know what they spend their money on the most?
hair, right?
Yep,
No, hey, yeah,
Ding,
you
ding, ding,
know,
ding, ding.
and that's one of
And
the things
men
that I
spend their
wanted
money on
to.
fashion.
Yeah, but see, that's where I wanted to come to with uppity knickers. Which, by the way, the stream is kind of winding down. The uppity knickers broadcast stream is not one of those 3-4 hour streams. The most they'll ever be is like 2 hours, etc. We're keeping it short, not only because what needs to be said will be said, within a 45 minutes to an hour time span, but also we want to keep undesirables out of the conversation. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people here, and that's how I like it. Okay, if we had like thousands of people watching right now, and they were all like off code, you know, uh, I wouldn't like that. But a good 16, 20, 100 people who they
Yeah.
got their minds right. That's what uppity knickers is about. When you say that black women are spending most of their capital on, most like, let's be honest, Asian hair, yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem, especially since um black women could be using that money to basically, promote themselves as the beauty standard, right? So when you have, and that's the other thing too, a lot of black women on TV have natural hair. So why aren't we promoting that as the beauty standard for black women, and then maybe that'll trickle down to black women as a whole in the United States not buying all these wigs and extensions and stuff like that. I mean, for Pete's
I
sakes,
know that there
even
was a
Ray.
push. I
Mhm.
think there was a push for it. I don't know if it's still a thing, but there was. I know maybe a couple of years ago it was natural. They made a push for, I guess you could say, establishments
Yeah,
to relax the hair standards where women could wear like their afro and their quote unquote natural hair at the workplace, because at one point it was looked down on. I know that there
yeah.
was a
See,
push a couple of years
mhm.
ago.
One of the problems, I think I should actually add this on to the next uppity nigga stream, which is the corporate world is actively disencouraging black women to be themselves. So how many stories are we going to see come out of this particular firm or that particular company saying, well, it's not within our policy for you to wear dreadlocks, or it's not within our policy for you to wear long braids, it's not within our policy for you to wear twists, or whatever forms that black women's natural hair takes, and so um I think, hold on one second, we have a lot of comments. Give me a minute. Literally saw propaganda saying that there's nothing prettier than a black woman with green hair.
Huh?
That shit is stupid. Like
Uh,
I think the big issue in the community is we know what we need to do to change things. Think about it. We could change things overnight. You know how many companies would go bankrupt if we stop spending our dollar there
Yep,
with them?
yep.
But it's it's
They'll
a
be
it's a
begging for your
thing
dollars
of,
back that afternoon. That
yeah,
afternoon.
it's a thing of, we know what needs to be done, and we
Mhm.
talk about it until we're blue in the face, but nobody's actually willing to step up and try to be a change. Like, there are people like Master P is one of them. I don't know if you
Yeah,
follow Master P on
yeah. I
social
follow his
media, but
moves.
he has,
Not that closely
yeah,
lately, but I
he
follow
has
that man. Yeah.
so yeah, he has so many businesses that go onto his Instagram, and he'll do like a 30-second video or like a minute video with them, and they'll advertise their product, and
Mhm.
that's a step. But if you say, well, our problem is the men spend their money on fashion and the women spend their money on hair, things need to change. But if you don't, initiate that change, or at least start that change, then it's not going to change, and you're just wasting time.
We're starting that change
That's
right
how I
here
feel
on
about it.
Uppity Knickers. We're starting that change right here on Uppity Knickers. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer that I put together, but if they think we uppity now, they ain't seen nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? That change you're talking about, Sundown, We starting that stuff right now. Anybody who has, I have a graphical design service. If anybody who has some sort of thing they want to get popping, talk to me about it. We'll work something out. Obviously, being a professional, I don't work for free, but we can work something out. Whether it's something on the back end, not literally. I ain't what's that guy's name? Hermano perspective. I live your truth, hermano. But something on the back end, I meant metaphorically, right? Give me something on the back end, or give me stock in a company or whatever. Okay, so basically, hold on. I like your stream, bro. Tap truth and muscle guy. Sundown is pretty swole, yo. Yo, Sundown looks like a
Thank you.
superhero. Yo, but yeah, we starting that right here on Uppity Knickers. All right, with women, I tried to tell my niece this, where she was spending something like 100 something dollars per, I don't know, every 2 3 weeks going to some sort of nail salon. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do you know you can get up on Alibaba.com or eBay and get the machines that they're using at a discount? Girl, I will help you out. I'll put money in it. We clear out the shed and we put the equipment here, and then we have the neighborhood people come in the garage. You can start your little business where all the women in the 4 or 5 block span radius, they come get their nails, their toes, fingers and toes done with you, and you could make your money instead of you giving money to somebody else. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it should start. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sundown.
Oh, no, no, no. I was agreeing with you. I was saying that. So the reason why I even got into, I don't even know how I got into this YouTube algorithm and met you guys. I think it was because of that retard. I'm just gonna call him retard.
Yeah.
But so that person is what led me to, I think it was Radical, and then I met Viva Xtina, and I ended up jumping on her chat one day, just out of the blue, and I've been rocking with you guys ever since. And that's because I like what you guys do, and I like what you guys talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I can actually
Hell
have
yeah.
a conversation with you guys
Hell
and
yeah.
not just hear people blow smoke.
Yeah.
So anybody
Pretty
I
much.
feel anybody that I feel is intriguing, I'm willing to have a conversation. And if they have a good vision, I'm willing to support it. But
Yep.
with
See,
you
it's
guys,
look,
like
it's starting already.
it's certain people that I know, it's certain people that I follow on YouTube that I would never in a million years communicate with them like that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they're on a different frequency than what I'm on.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
a
with
good
you
point.
guys, at least you guys are, intelligent enough to have a conversation and see what an issue is and see what needs to be
Mhm.
done to change those issues instead of just talking about
Yep. Look, the time for problem speak is over. Now it's solution speak. Okay. So if with Uppity Knickers, we have a lot of projects that we're working on. Me and Rad, we got something we're putting together. And pretty soon you guys will see what that is, right? And I expect to see that stuff happening on the periphery of this community, like around all of us. I expect to see new businesses come out of this. I expect to see people who want to, start a law firm. You're coming out of law school, you know. Not that I agree with what Benjamin Crump is doing, kind of like the racial ambulance chasing thing, but credit where credit's due. The guy he's getting it. Get it how you get it. Get it how you get it, player. And I don't agree with a lot of stuff he does. I think it's race baiting, but he gets it how he gets it, and he's out there like he hustling. Anytime a white supremacist steps on your sneakers, Benjamin Crump is already in a cab, on his way over there.
it. Yeah. We really gotta, and it's not just that, but it's like, on my Native American side as well.
Mhm.
Like, we got
Yeah, yeah.
issues that we
My
have to
Native
fix
American
in
people.
house.
Yeah, my First Nation peoples come through, come through. The Black
Like,
and Brown
no,
Coalition
I'm
doesn't
saying that
necessarily.
because like that's what my dad is. Like, that's my dad. My dad is Native American, and
Yeah,
like,
and not no $5
I,
Indian either, right?
oh fuck
Because
no,
we got a
$5
lot
Indian.
of
No,
that stuff happening. You
I
familiar
would,
with what?
I would, I know what a $5 Indian is. Put it
Mhm.
this way. Put it this way. A lot of $5 Indians, they're either, they quote unquote say that they're part Cherokee. Well, I'll say this: the reason, a way that you could tell a $5 Indian is you can ask them one or two things. If somebody says that they're Native American, you ask them what their
Mhm.
Native American tribe is. If they tell you what their Native American tribe is, then you can ask them state or federal. If they say, "Huh," they're not a real Native American. All Native Americans know what state or federal means. So what that means is, and
Okay.
I was told not to tell people this because people will,
Don't
it's me giving away
don't
answers
say
on a
that.
test.
We'll say it in
No,
private. Say it in
no,
private.
I'll tell you.
This
I'll tell you.
uppity nigga stream, bro. I'm so good.
Okay, okay,
Look,
okay. All right,
yeah,
all right.
sundown. We're making moves. We're making. That's not for everybody. That's not for everybody. You can tell. You can tell those of us in private. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot. That's why the stuff I'm doing with Rad, I'm not letting everybody know what that is. I'll tell you in private once I see you, but I ain't telling. I ain't letting. I ain't speaking street business out here. Let these people, the trolls and all these haters, let them hang around and hate. Let them stew in their hatred. State or federal, I'm gonna find out what that means with you like later on. But as far
yeah,
as these guys,
yeah.
let
I'll
let
tell
them
you.
keep running into that whole thing. When they get asked that question and it trips them up, let them keep doing that stuff. Because remember, do you guys remember the bunch of white guys who went down to some sort of Native American reservation, and they married the local women there, and then over the course of a few years, they killed off those women so they can legally own the land. You guys remember that case? You guys ever heard of it?
I didn't hear about that one.
No.
Yeah, yeah. That I'll have to send. See, names elude me. Names usually escape me. I should have had the name committed to memory.
Uh,
But basically,
it's 16 people. Viva asked you to say what that means. I'll tell you what that means. There's other means,
yeah,
but
he'll tell you in private,
it's only
Viva.
16 people.
Yo, you want to tell him here?
Yeah,
I,
I'll tell
I,
them. So,
I
so
got it.
this is me giving away free game.
All right.
So, if you ask a person tells you that they're Native American, say my grandmother was Cherokee, my grandfather was this, or Blackfoot, or Chickasaw, or Sioux, and you ask them state or federal, and they don't know what you're talking about, then they're lying.
Hello.
Oh, Sasquatch got him.
Oh, they got him. Sundown, they got you.
No, no, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh shit! You
Um,
got redacted.
no, no, no,
You got
no.
redacted.
So,
Yeah, his
if you
sound went
go
out.
to a person that's Native, so if you go up to a person that's Native American, right? They say that they're Native American, and you ask them state or federal, there's a difference. Not all Native Americans are federally recognized; they're state recognized. Like
Mm.
Lumbee Indians are recognized in the state of North Carolina, but they're not federally recognized. So, if somebody was to come up to me and they would be like, "Hey, what are you?" and I'd be like, "Well, my mom's black, my dad is Native American." What tribe? Lumbee. State or federal? State. They'll be like, "Okay, he knows what he's talking about." or
Cool,
if
cool,
somebody
cool.
was actually Cherokee, which is one of the most diluted Native American bloodlines out there, you would be like, what is what part of Native are you? Cherokee, state or federal? Federal. Like, okay, got it. If a person has to think, chances are you just caught them with a question that they can't answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all
So a lot
16
of
of
$5
y'all who in
Indians
here.
like that, Elizabeth Warren, I'm pretty sure that if a Native American went up to her and they say state or federal, she wouldn't know what the fuck they were talking about. But every
Mhm.
Native American knows that. You say state or federal, they know exactly what you're talking about.
So you guys got that? You just got free game on Uppity Knickers broadcast. You got free game. If
I
you
know
got
you're
some
talking about
$5,
opening.
it's all good.
Yeah. No, I said, I know I kind of went off on talking about Native American
No,
things
no, no, no,
on
no.
this
That's good.
stream, but
Listen, that's good. See, one of the things people who are wise to the game, they'll know that this is not really uh an exclusionary black thing that this uppity niggas broadcast. It's as a human being, when people try to get you to stay in your lane, that's oppression. Okay, I'm focusing on the black and brown aspect of it because I happen to be black and my friends happen to be black and brown. But anybody who feels like they've been oppressed and need to get gamed up, they could come through here, and that includes my Native American First Nation peeps out there. Where I gotta say this about First Nations. Remember, I kind of admonished what's his name, Melanated Knight. What's good? I kind of acknowledged, or not acknowledged. I kind of admonished Hermano Perspective earlier, and the other guy who was in the chat, who was saying that uh, mestizos, they've been here before black people, da 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 da. And I said, well, they kind of bent the knee to and submitted to white rule. They weren't really fighting back like that in any significant number. Well, if we revisit that idea, before black people started resisting in significant number, guess who was OG doing that shit before it was cool? It was the First Nations people. You know what I mean? They started like giving them that work when they got here. So enough respect to Native Americans. If you guys are out there and y'all
yes,
listening, come through on Uppity Knickers. All right, Uppity Knickers broadcast, come through.
they
We'll
were
chop
our
up
first
game. You know what
allies.
I'm
They
saying?
were our first allies.
Mhm,
Like
against evil.
when we were freed, and a lot of times when we would run away, they
Yeah.
would take
Oh
us
yeah.
into their tribe.
Yep. In fact, Bass Reeves, he got inducted into a tribe, and then he ended up speaking their language and a couple of other related languages who interacted with the tribe that took him in, and so he became like a multilingual, I'd say, ambassador, so to speak, between black people and First Nations of different extractions, and that I don't think that was uncommon. Like you're saying that this was a common occurrence, and I believe it. I believe it because you can see a close link between a lot of black people here, African Americans, and the First Nations people. Hold on one second. A lot of Africans were allowed to escape to Mexico and even Spanish Florida. Were allowed. How do you allow someone to escape? You allow someone to leave. If someone escapes, it's because it's due to you not allowing them to escape. You tried to keep them there, they escaped. That's in the word itself. Music only account. The word allow, allowed to escape, that's a contradiction in terms. Africans escaped to Mexico and even Spanish Florida. They weren't allowed. Nobody allowed one of these people. Somebody in my other life, which is like geekdom, right? One of them, they said something like this, where the other places aside from Latin America, there are a lot of other places where native peoples rose up and then kind of like, fought really hard. And then to turn around and say, well, they were allowed to. Do you have any idea how disrespectful that is? That's why I don't really have conversations with a lot of these people where I don't have the desire to prove my worth to them because it's a losing game. They already think I have no worth to begin with. That brings me to the back to the main topic of this Uppity Knickers broadcast, which is we have to stop allowing people to dictate our worth to us, especially when they don't think we have any worth to begin with. I was surfing YouTube and I was looking up two terms. I was looking up Hispanic and racist, and guess who always pops up if you look up those two terms? Chivo 2121. Chivo 2121 was on Twitter illegally because he got kicked off Twitter for saying too many racist things. But he was on Twitter illegally, and somehow an African American guy caught up with Chivo there and asked them, I'm coming down to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to take a wife. I'm going to become part of the whatever. Will you accept me? Why are you asking this guy? Why are you picking his brain as to what you should do? White supremacists got sundown. 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 If you come back, bro, I'll let you back in. Why are we asking Chivo's opinion on? Hold up. Oh, you really don't have eyebrows? That's hold on 1 second. You really don't have eyebrows? Is that a common trait among Native Americans? I haven't heard of that, by the way, Tina. Why are we asking Chivo if we can go down to the Dominican Republic? Now, this is I'm talking to that black guy right now, brother. If you're watching this, we're kind of winding down the Uppity Niggas broadcast, right? But I did go to your channel and I did leave an invite for you to come here. You obviously you declined because you're not here, right? Or maybe you're one of the 18 people watching right now. If you are, I need you to keep this in your head, all right? Do not ask Chivo permission to do a damn thing. Ask actual Dominicans. Chivo is an American. He's not Dominican. Chivo wants to be Spanish. He doesn't want to be Dominican. So he's an American who wants to be Spanish. Neither of those two things are Dominican. Dominican is a proud identity, very distinct. He's none of those things. Why are you asking him? And why are you asking him to validate you? Will you accept me? Who cares if he accepts you or not? There's one point where I will agree with Chivo on. If you're going down there to be predatory, if you're going down there in order to exploit the women sexually, because they're in a poverty situation. Welcome back, Sundown. White supremacists got you. The $5 Indians and the white supremacists got together and yanked you off the stream. Hold on. I was addressing the guy who asked Chivo's permission to go down to the Dominican Republic. So, my brother, if you're going down there to sexually exploit the women, right? If you're going down there to take advantage of economically disadvantaged women, so that you can do some sort of sex tourism thing and get your rocks off, then I agree with Chivo. You stay your ass here. Stay your ass here. But if what your intention is you want to be Dominican, you know what I mean? It's in your soul that you want to partake in the culture. You want to lose yourself in that identity and become Dominican, raise children. You sound like an entrepreneur, my brother. So maybe you want to go there and add to the economy there. I can't speak for Dominicans, but as a human being, I support it. What I would impart on you is to ask actual Dominicans. Actual Dominicans. Don't ask racists who have several videos on their channel calling you monkey. Every 3 or 4 videos, he's calling you nignog, monkey, ape, chimp. Why are you asking this man to validate you? Hey, Lord Hokage. Shout out to Lord Hokage up in the room. The StreamYard link is pinned, Lord Okage, if you want to come through and chime in on the topics. We have to stop asking people's permission in order to do things. Like I was saying before, white people don't ask you for permission for a goddamn thing. When's the last time Mark Zuckerberg said, did you receive a letter in the mail from Mark Zuckerberg asking you if he has your permission to do Facebook? Before Steve
No,
Jobs died. I'm sorry, go ahead, Truth.
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't get the letter? I didn't get the letter either. Right? Before Steve Jobs died, did you guys receive a letter in the mail of him asking you if he can expand Apple and revolutionize the portable communication system in the entire world? Did he ask you for your permission? Why are you asking people your permission? And it's two things. Why are you asking people for permission to do things, right? To progress. That's one dynamic of it. The other layer to that dynamic is, why are you asking it of people who clearly hate you? Clearly hate you. So this guy, Sundown, you gonna restart your phone? Yeah, man. That's a good move. Clearly, my brother, who hopefully you're listening in. Clearly, Shivo hates not only himself, but hates you even worse. Because when he looks in the mirror, he sees you in himself. All right? Those huge lips, that wide, those wide nostrils, sucking up all the white man's air. Those are black features. Those are black features. Shivo sees that in the mirror every day. And that reminds him of you. Or remind you of him. I'm kind of, rolling with things here. Right? So we have to stop asking people to validate us when they don't think we have any value anyway. If you need to start a business, holla at your boy. I got your logos. I got your identity package. I got your graphic design. I got your box package designs. Holla at your boy. You break me off some bread, I'll give you something hot. Okay? You want promotion? Holla at Viva Bea Extina. Break off some bread. She's got a growing platform. You feel me? Stop asking people who hate you to help you. And stop asking people who think you're worthless what you're worth. Don't ask Shivo if you can go to the Dominican Republic. Ask Viva Bea Extina. Ask Radical Latino. Ask actual Dominicans. Don't ask people if you can start a hair care company. Don't ask the Asians. No disrespect to the Asians. Y'all going through a tough time right now. Hey, Goddess up in the room. Shout out to Goddess. Asians are going through a tough time right now. So it's with semi. I have a semi heavy heart, even including them in this admonishment. But it is what it is. All right. Don't ask Asians if you can start with hair care products. They have a lockdown on hair care products marketed primarily to black women. Y'all don't feel some kind of funny way about that? All your beauty products and beauty care products, they're coming through Asia. You getting your feet, your toes, your fingers done from them. You getting your facials done from them. You're getting your hair extensions, your braids, or your bundles. You're getting all that stuff from them. And then every other week, they whooping your ass in the aisles of their stores, accusing you. Here's how messed up it is too. These women who are getting beat up in those aisles, it's not the first time they've gone into that store. So they've gone into those stores and spent $10, $20, $30 a week, right? A month, whatever that ridiculous amount of time and number that black women spend at those stores. So collectively, or cumulatively, not collectively, cumulatively, say that 3 times fast. Cumulatively, these women who are getting their ass whooped in those stores, they've spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year in those stores. And so when they go in there and it's accused or it's alleged that they stole $1 nail press-on kit, for that dollar, they're gonna turn into Tony Jaa on that ass. They're gonna Shoryuken uppercut that ass. They're gonna hurricane kick that ass all across the aisles. They're gonna Brazilian jiu-jitsu that ass over $1, really? When I went to you got to teach people how to treat you, which is kind of like an addendum to the topic here. I went to there's an Asian store near me, and I usually like to give them business. That might change depending on how I feel in next coming months. Okay, but I usually give them some business. Ever since I moved back here, y'all won't know what city that is, because I'm not gonna dox myself yet. But ever since I moved back here, I've spent upwards of $500-$600 every 2 or 3 weeks with those people. Everything from art supplies, because I buy art supplies cheap, and then I give them to like neighborhood kids. I ship them off to Haiti and stuff like that. So I buy a lot of stuff from those guys. And even though they know me personally, mask or no mask, they know my silhouette, they know my walk. Don't nobody walk like a black man. They know who the fuck I am. And so when I come in there, they still following me down the fucking aisle. I'm like, dude, don't I partially pay for half your shit in this whole store, like every month? And then I had some food. I had brought some food at a local deli before getting there, and they were like, no bags. I'm like, really? Like, you don't know me, man? All right, cool. It's policy. It's policy. Here you go. Here's the bag. Bitch about to put my bag on the floor. I was like, yo, bitch, if you gonna put my food on the floor? Oh, I'm so sorry. No. You're not sorry. You're about to do it. If I ain't tell you nothing, you're about to put my food on the floor. And the thing is, she's like putting the bag back up, and I'm like, okay, so you're giving me a pass, but the next black person that come through here with a bag of food, you gonna do the same shit unless they speak up for themselves? You gonna put like the lady behind me, coming in through the door right now? When she comes through, you gonna tell her no bags, and you gonna put her bag of food on the floor? People who don't value you have no say as to how much you value yourself. And so, sisters, I impart upon you, start small steps. It can be small steps. Uppity niggas. If they think we uppity right now, wait till you start small. You go up on Alibaba.com. It's the new Silk Road. Places like Alibaba.com and other places. If you look that up, Google will give you alternatives. Okay? You look up those machines that do acrylic nails. Okay? So that you can be the hookup for all your friends. Instead of them giving $1,000, collectively, all them together giving $10,000, all your connection of black female friends giving a collection of like $10,000 a month to the Asian beauty care industry, that can be funneled right to you, baby. Can you imagine $5,000-$10,000 a month getting funneled right to you in your little setup in your basement or your shed or your garage? Start there. Start being uppity. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to stay in your place. You worked way too hard for this shit. Your ancestors, both distant and recent, worked way too hard for you to stay in your place. You are shaming them by not living your best life. Get these businesses popping. For your logos, hit your man up. Holla at your boy. But get these businesses popping. Get these law firms. You're coming out. One of the things that One of the things that get me really upset is how we treat the criminal class. Say that 4 times fast, right? How you treat the criminal class in your community? I don't know any white, but I know a lot of white people and a lot of poor class white people. I don't know near one of them who they come out of jail and they get a get out of jail party. That's some black shit. That's some black shit. Why are we doing that as if the boy just celebrated? He came out of prison. Not only did he commit criminal offenses, he was too dumb to get away with the criminal offense. Why is he getting a party? Meanwhile, someone gets someone graduates or finishes an online course or is starting their business, and it way over your head. Like, who cares? We're allocating praise to the wrong sections of our population. No shade to anyone who's been to prison. Jesus Christ went to prison. Martin Luther King went to prison. You're in good company. No shade towards you for that. I'm saying is we are allocating our praise and our admonishments in converse places where we should admonish people, give them a good talking to for behaving a certain way. We give them praise instead. And where we should give praise, we ignore them. That has to stop. And that's part of being uppity, because every time they see you being part of the criminal class, every time they see you on the corner or in your car parked waiting for the next deal or whatever criminal enterprise that you're taking part in at the bottom rung, not even at the top or intermediate rung, you're at the bottom rung. You ain't no cartel kings. Juice and New Jack City were fantasies. That's not you. You're not Nino Brown. You're not Nino Brown. You're at the low rung of the ladder. Whatever it is you're doing there, right? Whatever it is you're doing there, maybe you should think about doing something else. Maybe moving, like flip the game. Keep what you earn and move it over to something else. Because we're allocating praise to the wrong places.
Yeah,
Sundown, what bro?
that's why I joined back. I joined at a good time. That's why
Cool, cool,
I
cool.
never it never it always made me feel some type of way when our community praises drug dealers,
Mm-hmm.
um, people that destroy their own community and their own people.
Yep.
Like there's nothing to glorify about that. And when I was growing up, I used to always talk to, because I grew up in a pretty bad place. It wasn't the south side of Chicago, but I knew guys that did sell, and I would always ask them. And it's like they would say things like, "Well, I don't have a good job. There's nothing out there. I'm only doing this because I'm trying to save up and get my mom out the hood." That's what they would always say: "Get my mom out the hood. Get my mom out the hood." But then
Yeah, which is a cop
I would
out.
see them the next time. Now, the next time I would see them, and I'm not trying to give away my age, but the next time I would see them, they have on the newest Jordan. Well, back then they had the newest Air Forces, throwback
Air Force One.
jerseys, gold teeth, and like big rims. And it's like you not you said that you were doing it for one thing, but you indulging in all these other things, it shows that you're doing it for the money. So in a sense, you're killing your own people and destroying your own establishments that we have, like little enclaves that we live in. They're becoming run down, and you're just doing it for clothes or social
Mm-hmm.
status.
Social status, clothes, clout. Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you
And,
celebrating? Why would you celebrate a killer when he killed somebody that looked just like him?
wow.
You turn this guy, that guy might have had kids, but you just turn his girlfriend, his baby mom, into a widow. Well, not a widow if they're not married, but now their father is gone for that child's entire life because you thought you were man enough to go steal his life because you were too much of a coward to fight him head up.
Mm-hmm.
It's we need to start. We need to go back to giving praise to the right people, the community activists,
Yeah.
If you're a religious person and you have a actual religious leader that is
Hmm.
not doing things for the money, doing it for all
Yep.
the right reasons, you need to go back to, praising them and the people that want their people and the communities to be better. Those are the people that need the praise. Those are the people that need to be
Yes.
celebrated, not some drug dealer or some gang member or some dude that's
Yeah.
got
I
a
mean,
body on his
the
back.
amount of
That's nothing to
times,
glorify.
Sundown, the amount of times, the sheer number of occasions where I'm sitting here doing graphics for this company, that individual, that indie book or a novelist, or this independent filmmaker. I'm doing these things, and then I'm seeing through my window, you know, this or that person is coming home, and there's balloons, getting blown up in that household because my baby out of jail. Why are you like, white people don't do this?
Yeah,
White people don't do this. When the white guys I know, when they come out of jail, they don't even want to talk to you. Their whole shit changes. These dudes, when you catch them, they're actually in the process of, and they don't complain about, oh no, nobody want to give me employment. Because yeah, they get deprived employment. They get the same snags that black former inmates do. These guys are squeezing and leveraging every connection they currently have, and connections they used to have, and connections that they burn bridges on. They try to make amends so that they can see what resources they can marshal together to change their life.
yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3
Have you
years
ever heard
after.
of?
Mhm.
Sorry,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I cut you. No,
No, no, it's close to.
if
Have I
any.
ever heard of it?
Oh no. So any normal person, when they get out, is not going to want anybody to know that they were ever in jail
Yeah,
in the first place. They definitely don't want to be celebrated. But again, it's just the toxic culture, which is one of many things that plague us. Is it's the cool thing to go to prison. Like one guy,
yeah.
who I was asking you about. I like him. He's a funny dude, but he's a really smart dude, and he brings awareness to a lot of stuff. His name is Big Herc. It's a famous YouTuber. He was in jail for like 10 years, and he got out. He has this thing called, I think it's Lockup. That's his channel on YouTube, where he talks about prison.
Is it
And
my
it's
man
like,
Herc? Is it my man Herc? Big
yes,
Herc?
yes,
Yeah, that's my boy.
yes,
That's my boy.
yes. He will tell you, he was like, man, y'all are crazy to think it's a badge of honor to want to go
Yeah,
to prison.
he
And
knows
like,
this.
I was in, huh?
He knows this. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
But no, it's just one of those things that we need to make not popular anymore. We need to popular. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to make education popular. We need to make,
Yes.
being there for your family popular. We need to make being the oddball popular,
Yeah,
because what's popular to us is what's destroying us.
yeah.
Bragging about sleeping with
Anything.
X amount of women is destroying us.
Yeah.
It's destroying the home. It's selling drugs
Not
is
only is
is
it
is
destroying your
it's
body, but yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
No, drug culture is something that's popular, and it's destroying us. Selling drugs is something that's popular, it's destroying us. Sleeping with multiple women
Mhm.
is destroying us. All that stuff that's popular to us is also what's keeping us behind the power curve.
Mhm.
And until we can normalize a
Behind the
person going to
power
college,
curve.
getting an education.
Uh-oh. I think I got the next title for the Uppity Knickers broadcast. Episode 2, Behind the Power Curve. Good looking
Yeah,
us,
no,
Sundell.
it's true. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's so many things that's destroying us, but we think it's fun. We think it's fun to be on drugs. We think it's fun to demean and put hands on our own women. We think it's cool to be the guy that has multiple sex partners, and then we get a disease that we can't get rid of. Then we want to cry, woe is me. We look down on getting an education, and not necessarily an education. We look down on getting trades, anything that can help us.
Yeah, it's looked down on.
That takes time to achieve. We look down on it. A lot of people look down on it. Yeah, okay, if you learn a trade, it might take you 5 years to change your circumstances, but 5 years are going to come and go no matter what.
Yep.
A lot of people will rather
Will we
settle
have
for what comes
accomplished it
fast.
then? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
So
What? Yo, you speaking fire, bro. You spitting fire tonight. The 5 years, look. No, because look, the 5 years is going, you don't have any power over time. When those 5 years get here, will you have accomplished the thing or not? Or will you still be here talking about, oh, I could have accomplished the thing? Oh,
yeah.
shit. Real, that's facts.
And don't
Real
blame
talk.
white supremacy. Don't blame white
Yeah.
supremacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
And
blame the white man
mhm.
for
Yeah, we can't blame the white man or white supremacy for
yeah.
this. Look, and here's my angle on this, right? With the white supremacy thing. We can't, if you're in a war, like there are many people who deny white supremacy exists, and I used to be one of the people who do. Until Rad showed me some stuff, I'm like, that's real funny style. I'm starting to think white supremacy is real. So now, still arguing from that position. If you're in a war, why are you complaining that the enemy is shooting at you? That's part of the game. That's part of the game. So how are you gonna blame white supremacists for keeping? That's their job. Yeah, they're gonna keep you down. Yeah, when you came out of jail, now it's a stain and blemish on you every time you try to go get a job. Yeah, that's how that works. But there's no reason why you come out of there and all your little sketchbooks and fashion stuff is not being collected and brought to me, and you know me, so that I can do logos for you to start your little fashion empire starting in your basement. There's no excuse for that not happening. It's not white supremacy responsible for that. There's no reason why you're not online taking courses to find out how to code computers. Little kids are learning that shit. It's not white supremacy keeping you down from doing that. They're keeping you down in general, yeah, but that's just the price of doing business. It's there already, and it's keeping down poor white people too, because white supremacy does not. Radical might disagree with me on this, but white supremacy does not benefit the standard white person. White supremacy benefits those who are in power, the white people who consider themselves supreme. All the Richard Spencers. One guy who used to be a an extreme white nationalist extremist, he realized that, hey, all these Richard Spencers and Jared Taylors and Stefan Molyneuxs, they're exploiters. They're exploiters. Even though they believe in white supremacy and white ideology, they think of us like niggers. They think of us like niggers. In fact, the word cracker, didn't that used to be used as a pejorative for poor white people? I'm not sure rich white people will call crackers, right?
I know that the Irish back in the day, the Irish were like called the
niggas
white
of
version
Europe.
of us.
Yeah, the niggas of Europe. They were called the niggas of Europe. And the thing is, I could see it because I know a lot of Irish people who, like, you know what? If you painted them a few shades dark, I mean, usually they're very pale anyway. But if you gave them several shades, I could see a black person there because they got really coarse red hair, right? And then like the stubbly nose and stuff like that. I'm like, this could be a sister. This could be a sister or a brother, but they used to be called the niggas of Europe. And we got Blumenbach to thank for the Blumenbach and his boys to thank for that shit, where they basically ran roughshod across this planet measuring skulls and shit. But to get back to the third topic, stop seeking value from people who give you no value. All right. So, with uppity knickers, it's a good thing to be uppity, to think highly of yourself, to swerve out of your lane, to get big in the head. All right. You don't want to get out of hand where it's unreasonably big in the head, but the confidence has to be there. And you must be called uppity. If you're not called uppity, you're doing something wrong. Because the people who are pressing you down, in order for you to not stay in the place that they're comfortable seeing you in, you have to be uppity. You have to rise above what you think your station is and what they think your station is. You
Yeah.
have to be an uppity. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said, yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, you have to be uppity. If you think they did a study, and I'll have to look up, because it would be nice if I bring this up because this has to do with uppity knickers right now. Um, they did a study where it infuriated people like Stefan Molyneux and Jared Taylor, who espouse beliefs that black people have low IQ. For those of you who are listening and who don't know who Jared Taylor and Stefan Molyneux are, and Charles Murray, etc., you'll hear their names mentioned a lot in reference to black people. Give me 1 second. You'll hear their names referenced a lot in reference to black people and intelligence, because that's their get down. They like to say that black people are stupid. So one of the things that infuriated those guys was that a study was made. Rad heard the words white supremacy. Rad heard the words white supremacy, and the rad signal hit the clouds like.
It started hitting. It started hitting the clouds, bro. I had to come here. First of all, I want to say white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, and we are victims. You know what I'm saying? We can't do anything else but be victims. All right. So until we actually learn that, you know what I mean, we'll still live in perpetual, subjugation. You heard?
This dude came in to troll us. What the hell, yo?
I was agreeing with
touch on those
everything
topics real quick, though. Touch on those topics if you can. You see what the topics are? You want me to run you through them?
Oh yeah, please.
All right, let me run you through them real quick. First, the Derek Chauvin trial. Okay. I don't know if there are 18 people in here. Why are there only 10 likes? You know how petty I am? You realize I want a like for every person that's in here? Why are there only 10 likes? There are 18 of y'all in here. Give me 18 likes. Or the amount that will add up to 18 people being in here. You could dislike if you want. Engagement is good. All right. So if you dislike this, you think I'm an asshole. I love it. Love to hear it. I am an asshole. Click that thumbs down button. And while you're at it, you hit like, hit subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. The Derek Chauvin trial, Rad. It's how that dovetails into what we're discussing here on the Uppity Niggas broadcast is before these white people went on the witness stand to basically speak on behalf of George Floyd. Before they did that, George Floyd was a criminal, drug addict, wife beater. Before it's the flip side of I'm white and I say so. Okay, so George Floyd was hooked on fentanyl. Before, when the CIA brought crack into the black community, it was a war on drugs. Get these niggers off the street. They're destroying our country. But as soon as it's white people who are getting down with all these drugs, I went downtown where in the city I'm at right now. If you drive for 10 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you'll see nothing. It looks like Woodstock, but for drugs. Wait, Woodstock had a lot of drugs. It looks like Woodstock dedicated to drugs. Wait, Woodstock was dedicated to drugs. You know what the fuck I mean.
It looks like just the Walmart of drugs.
It looks like the Walmart of drugs. Good looking
Got it.
now. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now that it's white people hooked on all these fentanyl and opioids and a whole catalog of opioids and narcotics, now it's a national emergency. We have to help these people. And then George Floyd, who was only a drugged out, wife beaten criminal before, suddenly he was my soulmate, says the girlfriend who was hooked on fentanyl right with him. Suddenly, now there's a sympathy to it. Now there's sympathetic angle. Now there's empathy. Now there's a human connection. Before that, there's a disconnection with these people where they don't connect black people to humanity, and it's showing in the Derek Chauvin trial because we see the murder, the execution that was taking place there. Right? We saw the execution worldwide. Like it's probably the most widely circulated execution aside from Jesus Christ at this point. But that wasn't enough because now we're having Discount Jack Black stand there and defend his client. Like, well, maybe it was the crowd. The officers felt threatened by the crowd. He's throwing everything but the kitchen sink. Okay, the Derek Chauvin trial. What I'm asking you, Rad, is what do you think a post-Chauvin trial world will look like? Okay, because whether we like it or not, you feel what I'm saying. Whether we like it or not, this is not only the trial of the century or the millennia. This is a trial to decide how white society and what the white supremacist power structure in general markets black people.
Yeah.
How they market us to the world and how white people see black people. To if this guy walks, that means like black lives ain't worth shit because we saw you kill him.
First of all, there's a lot of damning things on that trial that a lot of people aren't saying. First of all, the police chief even said that he went against protocol. You know, he never should have done that.
Yep.
On top of that, shout out to you for bringing this up to my attention. MMA expert, motherfucker is like what, third ranking place in the world.
Yeah.
You know, so he knows how to knock a motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows. Set understanding, this is on the record, that there's a difference between a windpipe chokehold and a blunt. Blood.
Air choke and a blood choke.
Yeah, air choke.
Yeah,
and a
that
blood
dude
choke.
educated my ass.
And
shit.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I didn't even know there was a difference, but apparently there is. And he said what Derek Chauvin showed in that videotape and in his own eyes that he was doing the blood choke based on the fact that he was saying I can't breathe, but was also able to speak because that's that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's the white supremacist talking point out there.
Oh yeah, of course.
If he was choking, why is he talking?
Not only that is that he he's what was it? He's he died. He didn't die due to the officers negligence. He died because
he OD'd on the fentanyl.
Yeah, because he OD'd on fentanyl. I'm like, oh, so you mean to tell me that day he was going to die either way? And the officer didn't just fucking kill him. He was gonna die either way. Come on now, like it doesn't make sense. So what I'm gonna be very, very honest, even though this is something I don't want, but we're gonna have to be prepared for either two things. One, something that he might go to jail, but do 10 years or less, or he might walk, but get like house arrest or whatever the case is, or some bullshit like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like they are setting this thing up. The thing is that they knew the precedent of what the country went through. This went worldwide. People rioted worldwide. So I don't think they're gonna want to do something that will spark that outrage again. So they might do something symbolic, like you know, like that woman that killed that dude in the apartment, the family of Floyd
Yeah,
might
Botham
come
John.
out.
Botham
Yeah,
John. Yeah.
yeah, Botham John. Floyd's family and girlfriend might come out and start hugging the cop or some
Wow.
bullshit like that, so they could ease the tension. You know what I'm saying? Something
Yeah.
might happen. So either one of those scenarios might happen. Obviously this cop needs to go to jail because he used excessive force that wasn't meant to be used, and that's based on his own superior. That's just I'm just going based on his own superior, that
Mhm.
what they said. So I'm using that as my level of knowledge of the police force in that county. So
Let me ask you, to kind of like expound. Denise, shout out to Denise Gonzalez. All right, how you doing, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. We're doing fantastic. Welcome to the Uppity Niggas broadcast.
Thank you. I was hesitant to come in. I was like, I don't want to let them speak because I always talk too much, but
No, 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 no. Definitely come in and opine and bring your spin and your insight on things. But Rad,
Yeah.
one second.
What made me jump in is the case, because I've been watching this case, and it's really important. I think people don't realize how important this case is.
Yeah,
Because
because
we've never had a lynching that's been this documented before.
yeah,
There's always room for speculation. In here, there's no room for speculation.
Th-
Everything was
yeah,
documented.
yeah. I mean, the guy's looking into the camera like, yeah, I'm killing him, and what?
Yeah.
This is why. This is why,
Like,
like, mhm.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. No, in in uh in the military, they you have this thing, the Geneva Convention, right?
Yeah,
So they have this code of ethics that we have to follow. And uh I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy named Eddie Gallagher. He was a Navy SEAL, and he was on trial, and he was sent to for Leavenworth because he killed someone, or they said that he killed someone. So by law, if you're in a combat zone, it's this thing called a double tap. It's the act of actually murdering someone. So like if we get into a gunfight and I shoot you and you fall, if I walk up to you, I can shoot you and I'm good. But if I walk past you and I go do something and then I come right back to you and then I shoot you, I could be prosecuted for that. So there have been instances where people have been attacked by, say, ISIS fighters or Al Qaeda, and that same dude that just tried to kill them, they have to give that guy medical aid. So I never
yeah.
understood, if we have to do that in a war zone and we have those rules in a war zone, why do those rules not apply here in America? Like, there was no reason, especially when the guy is on his stomach and he's handcuffed.
I could
There's
tell
no
you
reason for you.
I could tell you why, Sundown. The thing is, when you have a president of you know of impunity, like murdering with impunity, and nobody actually gets charged for that, then they is a green light. You just said it yourself. If something happens, you get prosecuted. There's repercussions. These police officers are not facing repercussions. The majority of them are even getting upgraded, salaries after they do
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
So that's the reason why it doesn't apply.
And to add, to piggyback from what you're saying, Radical, is something I've said before, is the qualified immunity what's making this so difficult to prosecute, because that is considered, I don't know if you guys watched or read the CARES Act, when they were removing all accountability from doctors using off-label medicines to try COVID patients. That means, for example, if they thought like a prescription was going to help you somehow relieve the your lungs or your elevate your oxygen levels or whatever they thought or they saw fit. If they prescribe you with that and you die from it, or you get brain damage or complications, or you get worse, they will not be held liable for that. That is basically what it's called qualified immunity for cops. In the line of duty, if they feel scared, quote unquote scared, right, and they shoot an unarmed person, they have qualified immunity because those are the risks that come with them doing their jobs, which I think is utter bullshit. Because if you're so scared, then why you want to be a cop? You have to. It's an exchange. I don't see soldiers going into war saying like, oh, I'm gonna come back, and when I come back I have all these plans. They know they're exposing themselves to die. That's a possibility. They're not going over there being scaredy cats. They're going over there to an actual hostile engagement. The same goes with cops. You're dealing with civilians that might not be guilty, or might not be armed. So why we always get cops acting with so much contempt? That's what really creates this perfect storm where they can kill you and get away with it.
Facts. Facts. One of the things that always amaze me is how many of these quote unquote cops, right, say I support our military. These soldiers, Marines, Navy people, they're not cowards like you, dude. As far as I know, they have a protocol in the military called, I think it's the 5 S's: shoot, shove, shout. No, shove, show, shout. It's a 4 S's or something like that. Basically, if you're coming towards a hostile person,
shoot, I think it's shoot,
Mhm.
shove, shout.
No,
and
it's not shoot.
smash.
Shoot's last. Shoot is last. Shoot is last. The shoot is the final option. Right. So basically, like someone is being hostile towards you, right? First, what you do is you shout like, "Hey, stop!" Second, if they keep progressing more and it's escalating, then you show your weapon system, like your rifle or your pistol, whatever. And for most people, that's like, I play, you got it. But if the person is still doing it, you shove, right? Like you stick your hand out, push him in his chest, and shove him back. And then I forgot what the other S's are, but what I do know is that military people, they have protocols and they treat even their enemy like enemy of our state, right? Of declared enemies of the United States. They treat them with more humanity and respect than our police are treating black and brown people here. It's actually worse for brown people because while black people, we have an apparatus that can, bring more light to when we're being mistreated. For every one of George Floyd's we have, or Ahmaud Arbery,
My friend,
or
what's
Ian
going
Rice,
on, my
there's
friend?
a, oh, who that?
I'm all right, just chilling. Yeah. Do my thing, Oh shit, y'all can hear me? My bad.
Yeah, you got ran up on the street. Who recognized you, Rad?
No. Somebody I know. I'm in the Bronx right now. I'm in the
All
Bronx
right.
right now.
That's cool.
Anyway.
Yeah. So we treat our people worse than what the military treats for enemy forces overseas. And to get back to what I was asking you, Rad, what does a post Derek Chauvin trial world look like to you? Like in terms of race relations in America?
Yo, my friend, give me
I-
that. Get that regular, right? I got you right now. I'm sorry. What happened?
Nigga, what the hell you buying?
Nothing. Wait.
That's good, Rad.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. What happened? What you said?
Rad talking to the plug right now.
No. What you say?
Oh no! What does a post Derek Chauvin trial world look like to you in terms of race relations
hope-
between black and brown people and white and black people?
This did show that we there is a unity, you know what I mean, because you had black and Latin people, fighting side by side, you know what I'm saying, even though the powers that be tried to dismantle that, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that hold on, wait, my friend, what's going on? What was it? Regular, right? Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, I'll just move up. I'll move up right now. All right, I got you. Yeah, hold on, guys. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Make that paper, player. That's what I like to see or hear in this
Yo,
case.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sundown. Were you
You're
trying to
talking
talk all
about
the time?
Yeah, just put it in
no,
the
no, no,
back.
no, no. You're talking
Okay.
I'm
about
gonna move
shout,
up a little
show,
bit. Just
shove,
put it in the
shoot.
back.
Oh yeah. I don't know what
My
the
fault.
4
Yo,
S.
hello,
What was it called, Sundown?
hello.
Shout, shove, shoot.
Shout, show, shove, shoot.
Shout, show, shove, shoot. Okay, yeah. So it's 4. Shout, show, shove, shoot.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was,
my
right?
fault. My,
No,
my
it's cool.
fault.
It's cool. Make
I'm
your
getting
paper,
some.
player.
No,
Hell yeah.
no. I'm getting some boxes. Yeah, I'm getting some
Or
boxes. It's in the back.
Yeah, you get some boxes. Yeah, move them birds, nigga.
No,
Move them birds.
no. You
Hell
bugging.
yeah,
No.
nigga.
Listen,
Just yo, don't stay in the game too long though.
It's
Don't stay in
12.
the game
Listen,
too long.
it's 12 o'clock. All right, I already saw suspicious. All right, so let me. Anyway, let me just say that this does show that black and brown unity is something that is possible. We've seen evidence of that, even though the powers that be try to dismantle that. The powers that be
Yeah.
try to mess that up. Hold on, wait, I got you right now. Hold on, give me 1 minute, guys.
But hey, Rad, we'll get back to you on that question. Let me ask Denise that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Denise. Well, how do you see
All right, have
a
a good one,
post?
bro. Thank you, bro. Yeah, not a problem, man. Yo, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I got you. I got
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead,
you with the
bro.
rest. I got you with the rest.
Nigga.
Oh, yo, my
Nigga.
y'all heard that shit?
Yes.
Oh shit. Yo, can you delete this?
Lord Okage.
um,
God
What's good?
damn it. Mute.
Yo, what's good, man?
All right.
yo, Hoki, yo, Lord. It's if you give the medical aid or assistance and then you shoot, that's when it's punishable, right?
Yes, but it's only on terms of if if they're not attacking you. Basically, that's basically what it boils down to,
Yeah.
right? Like once you kind of debilitate or render the threat non and void, and then you continue to attack them, that's when you can be held accountable and liable for that.
Got it. So I think
So-
that's what that Phil guy did.
Basically, if Derek Chauvin was in the military, this would be a done deal already.
Yeah, he would have been done already. Yeah, he'd have got like life 8 times over.
but isn't military not considered
Better
civilian?
training?
Right?
Yes.
You guys are not considered civilian, so it's not
Yeah,
the same.
but-
You guys are punished even more than us if something goes down.
Well,
Yeah,
the
we have
reason
two
why is
judicial systems.
yeah. And in the military, you are guilty until proven innocent. In the civilian
Yeah.
world, you are innocent until proven guilty.
Proven
It's a separate judicial system.
Yeah.
The burden of proof is on you to prove your innocence in the military, not the other
Yeah,
way
I hear
around.
it's tough over there, man.
Yeah.
There ain't no damn democracy over there.
It's
damn
not. It's a
democracy.
life. It's a life of duty. People think
Yeah.
this is a joke, but it's not. Like I just saw last October, I believe, there was a new party that's forming up. I don't know if you guys have heard about the People's Party.
Yeah.
And there was a military dude explaining like how he felt pissed off when he came.
Okay,
from
I'm
war.
good, guys. I'm good. No more interruptions. I'm sorry.
Okay. he came from war and he said like you come from fighting regimes and stuff in other places and seeing like their own governments killing people and stuff to see how this is done in your own country. and you feel like this urge to protect. Like when he explained that, I was like, oh my God, like I've never thought about the psyche of, how you must feel that you're fighting this kind of shit overseas, and then you come back and you see your own people that you're trying to, keep protected and safe, living through this whole shit in your own country.
There are a lot of.
I didn't respect George Floyd. Sorry, go ahead.
I think they depicted that in one of the Netflix shows that Chadwick Boseman was on. It was
Rest in
Bad Blood.
Yeah. It was like 4 former Vietnam soldiers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's when you're not part of the dominant society, unfortunately, there are gonna be a couple of it's a 2-war type of thing. You're fighting for your country, but the same people in your country that you're fighting for aren't gonna see you as equal. And that's a double-edged sword there. And a lot of people don't tend to realize that or understand that.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Go ahead, Sondon.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't like George Floyd. I didn't like him when it came out that he pretended to be a UPS man and then he robbed that one Mexican lady that was pregnant, put the gun in her stomach. But even with that, if I had been that Chinese cop and I had saw that, I would have kicked the dude in the back of the head and got him off.
Yeah. Because the thing is, okay, look, the man's past is his past, all right? And it's a dirty past, and it's nothing to be proud of. But if there's no room for forgiveness and absolution and growth, then what are we doing as human beings? I wasn't a huge fan of George Floyd either. But the thing is, if you still feel like, and I don't mean you like you, Sundown, I mean in general. Like, if you still feel like he hasn't paid enough of his debt to society, then jail him some more. For whatever transgressions that he committed against our society. But you don't execute him, in front of 6 billion people.
But what's crazy, bro, Tip? You know what's insane? What bothers me about this whole case, and we're in day 9, I believe now, is that we have seen before in every case how the defense always tries to make the witnesses that the prosecution brings feel or look guilty to discredit what they're saying. We've seen that before many times, different cases. It doesn't even involve police. We've seen this before. What I have never seen in my life is the defense making the victim depicting them as evil in order to get off of a sentence. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, basically, it's not a Derek Chauvin trial; it's a George Floyd trial.
Yeah, they even call it like that the first 2 days. It was like, they did George Floyd trial. I was like, no, George Floyd is not on trial. Okay, and it's something that it shows you that we have a corrupt media, and that's what we have. The problems we have in our society, which also collides with what we're saying about hip hop in the comment section. We have an elite group of people that we celebrate and idolize, and those include the media, politicians, and celebrities. And whatever they say is what we're going to follow blindly. We don't exercise analyzing things anymore. We don't do that anymore. So they will not tell you that Derek Chauvin even tried to plead 10 years in federal prison before the trial started. They will not tell you that shit. But that shit did happen. Why do you think he's pleading guilty? He wanted to plead guilty and 10 years in a federal prison before the trial started, because he knows what's up. But they won't tell you that. They won't tell you.
I didn't even hear about that. You put me up on game about this. I didn't even know.
They will tell you that George Floyd was an addict, but they won't tell you that it was a prescription for opioids that a doctor gave him when he was not an addict, what got him hooked on opioids. And that is the epidemic of opioids we're seeing in America. It has turned into this because we have doctors prescribing you with Vicodin, Percocet, OxyContin to normal, regular people. And it only takes 3 freaking doses for you to become addicted. So of course, when you cannot get the prescription anymore because it's a super controlled drug, you will go to the streets and start getting more stuff and getting into other drugs. That's the epidemic that they're trying to cover up. But even Purdue Pharma that produces OxyContin is under review and a lawsuit for this shit.
Wow.
But the media also won't tell you that. So
I'm glad that you brought that up, Denise, because it's 100% true. We've seen in plenty of other cases, black victims be demonized plenty of times. For example, let's look at the Trayvon Martin case. You know, there was literally a fake picture of Trayvon Martin with a bunch of tattoos, and you know, it circulated around the apartment complex that he was murdered, and it went online saying like this is who Trayvon Martin really was, when in reality that wasn't true. It was a picture of the rapper The Game, you know, and they passed it off as Trayvon Martin. They said that Trayvon Martin was actually 6'2", 200 pounds, and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? The same thing they did with Mike Brown. They said that he was actually the aggressor, and he was actually the neighborhood bully and all this other stuff off of one convenience store footage. And then years later, when the real footage came out with the whole context of it, they never told you that the cigarillos that, according to the media, he stole was actually placed there as collateral because he was borrowing something from the store.
Yeah. There was some sort of arrangement being made between the clerks and
exactly.
him. But they never showed that. Yeah.
So and the thing is, the cops, they saw that, but they chose to demonize him, and with the power of the media, they ended up doing the same thing. But a lot of people from the grassroots still denied it. A lot of people from the grassroots knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? So it really shows that when you go up against a dominant society, you know, everything is going to go against your best interest. Let me give you another example. When that Somalian cop accidentally shot that white woman, guess who was victimized for the first time ever? The cop. The cop was victimized, but let's look at what a coincidence. The cop was a Somali black guy, you know, and the thing is, he was victimized to the point where he actually right now got served 20 years in jail.
Oh yeah.
When does that ever happen to a white person? A white cop literally has to become a serial killer and go above and beyond to even get 20 years. Like that I think was it that half white, half Chinese cop that was raping 20-something women. Yeah, 20-something women. I believe he raped like more than 50
Claw.
Yeah. He raped more than 50-something women. It was to the point where like, yo, we lost count on all the victims that kept on coming forward. And to the point they gave him 200 years in jail, you know. Obviously, that was something that you can't really ignore. You know, but for the most part, you don't get cases like that for the most part. You know, you get these Derek Chauvin cases where, again, the victim becomes the demonizer. Oh, he was on fentanyl. He was this. He put a gun on a pregnant woman's stomach. Yeah, all of that is crazy. But that's not the reason why he was arrested. That was not the reason why he got killed. You know what I'm saying?
That's
what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. I said he did that, but he still didn't deserve to die that way. And
of course.
I would have been there, and if I was a cop there, I would have kicked that dude off, because it's one of those things where that was intentional suffering.
Yeah, he deserved. I believe that he deserved his day in court. Now, another thing they don't tell you is that there is precedent to this stuff with Derek Chauvin. It was just deemed unadmissible. I'm sorry. He already rested, quote unquote, rested on somebody else's chest for several minutes before. But they said, okay, this is not related to the case. It's not admissible. So why are we using the rhetoric that we have this, clean cop killing this horrible, demonic, and diabolical quote unquote black dude? Look, we have two people that led different criminal lives, right? But one killed another. And the fact that we can't see that, like probably us in a group here, we can't see that. But if you look at a lot of groups in America, they're making a mockery, some people, out of this. Some people are recreating the last minutes of this man's life.
Yeah,
And being
was
all kinds of
sadistic.
memes and shit. Yeah.
yeah, I think there was a white supremacist, I think a message board or whatever, where they all gathered up in the park and recreated the killing.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, well, see, they're going back into their pagan roots with all these blood rituals. You know,
It's
and,
sadistic.
there's nothing wrong with being paganistic. So all my pagan fam out there, I'm not coming at y'all. I'm saying like with them, these particular extraction of white people, they pervert everything. So all these blood rites and blood rituals, yeah, there will be in a damn parking lot reenacting. I mean, remember those cops that recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they reenacted that boy who got choked out, and then the lesbian cop captain had to come out. Sorry, the obvious lesbian. The captain came out. It was like
What gave
this.
it away? The short haircut.
No, but
Oh,
look
you
at
saw
what
that?
happened. Look at what happened on Valentine's Day here in LA. LAPD was spreading around a Valentine's card saying "You take my breath away" with
Wow.
George Floyd's face in a heart, and it was the cops. And another cop felt bad and notified it to their lieutenant, and that's what started the case. But I'm
Well,
like, you have one.
that's the reason why Chris Donner did what he did.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm like,
Yeah.
after watching so many of these cases, after watching how people really react to and want to pander to stupidity, because this is
Hmm.
beyond race. This is just you trying to be stupid if you try to justify the unjustifiable.
I'm gonna
You know.
I'm gonna go because my phone is actually dying. I'm driving back home. I had to go take care of some business. What was it? What? Don't worry
I
about it.
got two phones. One for the plug, one for the load. I got two phones.
I actually do got two phones, but don't worry about it. Listen. What I'm gonna say is that I gotta survive somehow. Fuck you.
Right.
Listen, no. What I'm gonna say is that for my Latin people listening right now, just because this is happening to black folks, do not be ignorant to think that this will not happen to you. Regardless how light you are, regardless how they don't see me as black. In white society, they see everybody, black and Latin, as niggas. That's what they
Yep.
see, y'all.
That's true.
We just gotta keep it real. A very small story. I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna leave. There's recently been I've been trying to get in contact with this YouTuber, but they're fairly new. There was this YouTube video that I saw about white Latinos, and this black woman from New York was actually breaking down her experience, and that how certain Latin people, regardless how light their skin is, they will still identify and see themselves as white just because they got that light skin. And to her, that was mind blowing because she clearly sees them, as light skinned, non white people. You know what I'm saying? And she said in one of the stories that when she was hanging out with her white friend and her other black friend, right? They were hanging out together, and they said, "Oh yeah, Maria couldn't make it because her brother passed away." And according to this woman, the white woman said, "Oh, is it because of gang violence?"
Wow.
So
That's
the
messed up. That's messed
so
up.
the both black women looked at each other And in this story, she said that she had a personal conversation with the other friend, not the white girl, with the other friend, and said, "Listen, Maria identifies as white, and it's so funny that because she identifies as white, other white people do not see her as such." And this is a perfect example I've always been saying, regardless of how Hispanotep you want to be, or I'm a Roman and she, all of that other stuff goes out the window when it comes to white supremacy, because all they're going to say is, yeah, whatever, you are still a Negro to me, and you're going to be over there with the other Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all later. And first of all, I got all these fucking haters because I showed part of my face in my Instagram. I got all these fucking people calling me a fucking mestizo. Like you're a Roman, you're a Roman mestizo. You're a Roman mestizo. I'm like, yo, relax, calm down.
Roman mestizo.
Yeah, you're a Roman mestizo. I'm like, relax, calm the fuck down. It's not that serious. They said that I'm darker than Andy, but Andy's a criollo for some reason. I'm like, I guess. All right, cool, whatever.
Only this Hispanotips will start measuring up just how light you are.
Yeah,
Instead
they said that I'm not black, but I am darker than Andy. But so I shouldn't claim blackness because I look like a native, according to them. According to them.
Isn't that retarded though?
It's whatever. It is what it is.
That's retarded to me.
Yeah. I'm like, it is what I'm like. It's funny because I'm like, it's not that serious. Calm down. But anyway, let me let y'all go. Bro Tep, thank you for having me, and we definitely got to talk, behind the scenes, because our thing should supposed to be, you know what I mean, to finalize our thing. All right.
Yep.
All right. Catch you later. All right. Peace.
No doubt. Yeah, big things are going. Big things are going between me and Radical Latino.
Yo,
I mean,
I'm gonna dip too, man. I've been like asleep.
No problem. I'm about to actually end the stream because the Uppity Nigga stream is meant to be like an hour and a half tops, but because yeah, it got really good, and I didn't want to shut it down. But now if I could get like final thoughts from you guys, like and sorry Hokage that we didn't get to have you expound more on stuff,
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, but go ahead if you guys could leave some parting words. Good truth teacher, can you leave some parting words?
Oh, I'm brain dead, man. For real, I've been asleep. I just like.
That's cool, man. That's cool. How about you, Sundown? You bring give us a few parting words.
He's asleep too.
Oh God. Hokage, give us some few parting words.
I don't know what to say. I do want to say something about what Radical was saying about Hispanics kind of identifying more with white people, and I think black people, any black person from all of the diaspora, shouldn't really like look negatively on anybody that does that. And my reason is because people just want to most people are not. They're not like about that life, right? So most people want to take the easiest path in life to kind of just go with the flow. So I don't think we should really kind of, harp on them when they don't kind of go down that path. I think we should kind of be more understanding in a way, and then wait for them to get their nigga wake up call, right? And then when they get their nigga wake up call, then you just welcome them with open arms and say, okay, welcome to the team, right? And you could be with us, or you go back over there where they're gonna treat you like shit. It's your choice.
But don't you feel? Don't you feel that those are?
Go ahead.
Denise, but don't you feel, Lord, that those are the people that often betray you on your plight?
That's what I was gonna say. So you took my answer. All right.
Yes and no, because people gonna do what they do. The person, here's the thing: betrayal will happen from someone that's on that side and someone that's deep rooted in your ideology and philosophy. It all matters on what deal that they can get. So if you're giving out a better deal here, right? It's like I say with like the African American community. Like the most educated in that community is leaving to date out their race, and the reason why is because the deal that they get in the community is not better than the deal they're getting somewhere else, right? So if
Facts.
someone offers you a better deal, right, you most people are going to take it. Most people are not about suffering, right? Most people are not about that life. So I personally don't harp on people who may say, hey, like, I'm Afro-Latino. I look just like an African American. I can't not say I'm not black, but I have other friends who are darker than me. They'd be like, yo, I'm not black, and they're Hispanic. And I don't get mad at them. I don't tell them, well, you have to know. I just say,
No,
one day
no.
you'll realize the truth.
No, but Hokage, nobody here said that they have to identify with black or say that they're black or anything like that. In
No, I
fact,
get what you're saying. I just don't. I don't think they need. I think if they be like, "Yo, I'm white," or "I'm not with them," or if they're just want to other themselves, I
yeah,
don't really like. I think we should just let them slide because eventually, if you really look at situations, right?
Mhm.
Like life has a way of putting people in their place, right? The universe bends you to their will eventually, right?
Yeah,
So
well, yeah. I mean, we all gotta die, and then yeah.
that's my only thing. That's my closing thoughts. You
I
know what I'm
got
saying?
you.
Good show, though. Good show. Good show. Though.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. You next time, we'll have you come in earlier, hopefully, and then you can opine more on the topics at hand and stuff like that. But it was great
Okay.
having you, man. Thanks for
All right,
stopping by.
man. No problem, man. Later, guys.
All right, cool.
I
All right.
I kind of disagree with you, Lord. Like on the
I had to.
letting
I
them
had to.
slide. Go ahead, Songdong. Go ahead.
Sorry. No. So the reason why I couldn't talk when you asked me my final thoughts is because my mic was charging, so it's
All right.
about to die.
All right.
So sorry to cut you off, Denise. So my final words would be: at the end of the day, even if like we know that there are racist people out there, right? We know that no matter what we do, how much we achieve, there are going to be people that still feel that they are superior or still feel that we're inferior, no matter what we achieve. And why, to me, I've always said, why spend my time trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Why spend my time trying to reason with those people? Those people don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything. The only
Yeah.
thing that I need to do is concentrate on me, concentrate on my tribe, and be the best person that I can be, or at least be better than I was yesterday. So when you bring up these people, like I don't even like mention, like I made a promise that I would stop mentioning certain people's names. But when we bring up the usual people, there's no reasoning with them. So why even try to
Yep.
attempt to reason with them? Let us, we got what, like 16 people in the chat?
Yeah.
Let us reach those people,
Yep.
because we might reach the right person, and that person reaches out to another person, reaches out to another person, and that's when the change comes. Even if it takes a little longer, as long as the change comes, that's all that matters. So from this point on, I'm focusing on me and mine and making my people better. And if, I guess you say, if Hispanics feel that way about them, then they have every right to feel that way. And if they say that I don't want a unity with you, or I'm better, then let them say that. I'll just cut them off and go to bettering myself and bettering my own people.
Mm. All right.
Call
Oh,
what's the stream called?
Oh, Uppity Niggas Broadcast, bro. Uppity
Exactly.
Niggas.
Gotta become uppity. And one thing
Yep.
about being uppity is you don't. It's called up, right? So you're looking
Yep.
up. You're not looking down.
Yep.
So if a person has negative feelings for you, or negative attitude, or they can say whatever they want, you're looking up. That's your angle, or that's your goal is to
Yep.
reach higher. You
You
can't
shouldn't
reach
even
higher
see
looking
them.
down.
Yeah, that's the point. You shouldn't even see them. Like the haters, they can look at your chest or under your chin. You shouldn't even see them. Like your head should be tilted above them.
Yeah, and
You
that's no
up.
disrespect towards. That's no disrespect to Hispanics. Like I don't. have an issue with Hispanics at all.
No, no, no.
But
It's not the
there are
Hispanics. I'm
some
talking about
people.
the haters, not the
Yeah,
Hispanics. Haters.
yeah,
They come in every color.
yeah. They come in every color.
Hmm. Hell
So
yeah.
let's focus on staying uppity, reaching goals,
Yeah.
accomplishing things, and changing this destructive cycle that we're in.
Hell yeah. All right. All
You
right.
know
All
what I'm saying?
right. Cool. 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 Yeah. And yo, welcome back. We're doing this every Thursday. So if you happen to be online, stop on through and opine on the various things that we're discussing. And let's try to build together. You know. But Denise, if you can give us some parting words, like things to think of, think
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I was just really listening because I think I need to personally, of course, learn how to master that part. Like it irritates me so much seeing like in my community people that will come and like disrespect like so many parts of our heritage and in other communities. So yeah, we definitely I agree with what you guys are saying. I think from this point on, the educational phase is over. Like either if you did not pick up on what was being told or you did not educate yourself
Hmm.
enough and things, then that's it. You're supposed to take care of yourself. But I do not agree with Lord when he's saying like, "Oh, we'll welcome them with open arms." I don't believe in that bullshit.
Yeah, that
I
was kind of crazy in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like honestly. Like, I'm sorry, and I will be sympathetic,
Hmm.
right, with their problems, but I will never welcome this racist pricks into
Hmm.
our ranks through my door because simply there's no loyalty. And I understand why other people might. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're wrong, Lord, but like in my personal opinion, I don't. Now, I do feel we need to start becoming business people, start becoming the owners of stuff. And that's the path that I'm at.
Yeah.
That's the path that many people I know are in, and that I wish for every person, because there's nothing better than, owning your own stuff, being your own boss, deciding your own future, and
Ooh,
not
sister.
not living it up to the corporations and the elite classes to dictate how much money you're gonna get. Like we see this whole battle with the $15 minimum wage bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
Disrespectful.
yeah,
Ooh.
it's like if you compare the inflation level that we have experienced, we're supposed to be making $24 an hour
Yeah.
today. Now 15 was in 2009.
Hmm.
So, the more you become independent, find out what you're good at
Hmm.
and develop, try to find high income skills that you might have,
Mm.
and try to develop a nice business plan. If you don't know how to do that, go to your local SBA office and ask them. They'll do it for free. It's starting those steps where you become literal sorry, stop being illiterate
Yeah.
in corporate and also in media, because they'll tell you many things. Like, you see people right now dancing like a herd. Oh, 15 minutes, $15 minimum wage and all that stuff, but in reality that's not a livable wage.
No, it's not.
And you see the level of corruption and how it's spread, and we are the ones that are supposed to take care of ourselves. I don't know if I think I expanded too much, but like,
No, no.
this is living proof that nobody cares and the world doesn't owe you an understanding.
Mm.
Like, you have to be able to take care of yourself And now communities need to stop educating their idiots and their donkeys.
Mhm.
Just let them be donkeys. The world will always have a servitude class,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter how much it hurts or how bad it sounds. This is how the servitude class is created. Stupid people. It sounds crazy, and I'm sorry if that hurts people's feelings, but that mediocre mindset is what creates a good servant.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, like I said, break out of that, become your own little empire in whatever high income skill you have, and don't let people, sway you into battle, which is something I even have to learn personally, because you all know that I always come in with guns a blazing. So
Yo, Denise be coming in hot. When you
like
see Denise in
literally
the
I always get like so heated, man. Like it's something that I need to learn how to master. Like listening to you and
Mhm.
something I'm talking about, that it made me realize, yeah, there's so much energy we do not need to waste with donkeys. We don't. So that would be my closing statement.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Those were stuff I need to have on a plaque. I need to have on a plaque on the wall or something. Badass, badass. Oh, Truth Teacher. I think Truth Teacher fell out. Truth Teacher fell out.
He literally went, you know how he wears his robes to sleep and stuff? Very fancy, very fancy, He
Yeah.
probably is in one right now just sleeping and shit. We just put him to sleep.
Yeah, Truth Teacher's having some me time. Truth Teacher's
Yes.
got he's got
Some
those
R&R. Some
some R and
R&R.
R. You feel me? He's getting his TLC on. You feel me? He's got those tea. He's got his honey tea, his honey brewed tea.
Yeah.
He's got his silk robes. This dude,
He's sleeping in Egyptian cotton,
and Egyptian cotton. You feel me?
Yeah, because it's getting kind of warm, So it's time for Egyptian cotton.
Let me find out. This dude got all kinds of pink pillows with you know what I'm saying, like satin sheets, and then
Yeah.
like a mirror on the ceiling.
You're welcome, Lord, for like literally. Yeah, there's I'm sorry to break up the good laugh we were having,
No,
but
no, 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 no.
there
Well,
is an SBA office everywhere that within the United States. Just find your local one, and also try to work at the same time with your credit score if it's not like kind of good or decent. And the SBA will also hook you up with lenders that will fund your business. And because you're coming recommended by the SBA, they'll be more lenient on requirements and stuff. So definitely, establish some contact with your SBA office for sure.
but yeah, the all right. So and again, Hokage, no, we weren't saying that you were wrong. It's just we don't agree. You feel me? Like um the kind of people you're talking about, I don't necessarily want them in anything I'm doing because all they'll do is sabotage it. You know what I mean? All they'll do is sabotage it. They'll come in there with even if they don't want to, like it's just their energy, they'll just sabotage it. Can you imagine Dominican Renaissance with how he feels about black people, and then I put him into our business? Come on, man. The guy couldn't even bring himself to say that black Americans created anything. He couldn't even bring himself to do that.
Bro,
So no.
look,
Yes.
the what I always say about mental health, that it's
Let's
crazy,
go.
is that it's like the level of living outside of reality that somebody has when they can look at themselves in the mirror, see the Negro that's looking back at them, right, in the
Mhm.
mirror.
Yep.
Because I see that Negro every time I look at myself in the mirror, right? And
Yeah.
then you say to yourself, I'm white.
Hmm.
Do you know the mental pathology that you have to be so out of touch with your own reality?
Yeah.
Why would I want that kind of people around me?
Yeah, like having them. The first thing that would happen when you bring someone like that in is you start seeing little things start to go wrong. That's because they're slowly poisoning the organism from the inside. So me, you, melanated knight, truth teacher, radical, Viva Bear, Xtina. Let's say we get together and put like a some sort of little internet show, right? Where we got cameras, we invest money in cameras or whatever, and then we make the mistake of inviting Domran. It's just we'll just see tiny little things start to go wrong, and then
Yeah.
even like that's because deep down he knows what he's doing. It's basically corporate espionage. I forgot what it's called when one company sends people as spies to kind of like
Like an
disrupt.
infiltrator. Yeah.
Infiltrator. There you go. So no, I wouldn't want anyone like that around. Like Shivo. Shivo
Yeah.
grew up around black people. The people who gave Shivo hands, who taught him how to fight, were black people. And then Shivo's turning around asking black people to fight. So
Yeah.
so
That's
all they're gonna
insane.
do is take what you've taught them and turn them on you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, no
it's
way.
like it's like I said, I don't agree with just that part. The rest of what he
Yeah,
said,
just yeah. The rest of what he said was good. Good game. Good game.
I don't really care like if people wanna identify as black or white. What I
Hmm.
don't want them is to, try to tell me how I should feel about who I am. Like
Yeah, your identity.
I know exactly my identity. Like I look at my dad, and probably the next time we do a broadcast, I'll put a picture of my dad so that people
Cool,
can
cool.
understand where I'm coming from. Like I know who I am, and I am Afro Latina. Like I don't give two shits how light I look, how there's white people in my DNA and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. The mental gymnastics that some people will go through to just like
Hmm.
whiteify themselves. I'm like, I'm not a fucking, you know, I
Yeah,
don't feel any connection to Caucasians. I have nothing Caucasian in me. I don't care how light I came out.
they latch on to these DNA results like so hard. It's
Yeah.
unless it's something they don't like with Domran, it came out that he had significant
Yeah,
amounts of
I think it was
African.
like 67%.
Yeah, something like that. And then he said, "It doesn't matter. It's probably bullshit anyway." Oh, now it's bullshit, Domran. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's it's like I said, it's retarded to ask people that live outside of reality
Hmm. Yeah,
to
to
make
to
sense
help
to
you
you.
build. Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exactly help you build. You can't. They
Yeah.
live
What
outside
you
of
yeah, what
reality.
what you gonna build with Domran? What you gonna build with Shivo? You
Man,
remember that guy who went up the road with you after we ended that stream? Rad ended that
Hermano,
stream.
I
Yeah,
think Hermano.
Hermano. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hermano perspective. What you gonna build with him?
I know what we can build with them, and
I
it will be profitable.
make fun of him.
I know, literally a circus.
Oh, the circus
We
around
can
him, yo. Yeah, he's a
definitely.
damn
Oh my
clown.
god, we
Yeah,
will
he's a damn
put
clown.
Cirque du Soleil out of business. I swear.
Build it around Hermano.
They
You
should
know?
consider that business. Let's just we're not good for anything else but to make a fool out of ourselves. Let's just make a circus and that's it. Call it a day.
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah. Let me see. All right. Let me let both of you guys go, and then I'll do some closing words, and then I'm about to end the stream. But email me, Denise, uh,
Mhm.
and we can chop it up some more. And
Sure.
me and Rad are working on some stuff where we definitely want to see if you want to be involved in it. First, it's
Okay.
starting with just me and him, but then we're seeing how it picks up, and once it picks up there'll be more seats at the table. Once you see what we're talking about, you'll know how literal I mean that. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'll
All right,
I'll
what's
drop it in
what's
the private chat.
yeah, I'm,
I'll
I'm about to send you. Yeah,
I was telling Radical because I'm developing my channel as well.
cool, cool.
And I told him like I do want us to come together for different things,
Mm-hmm.
especially on my channel. Like I'm probably not gonna have like everybody under the sun hop in there, but I will like for us like the major, figures that actually make sense to
Yeah.
be a part of it,
Mm.
because I don't want people that don't make sense. I want like you see how chill and coherent and relevant this conversation went that I did not even feel the need to join because I was entertained.
Mm. Good, good,
So
good.
it's like I said, I'm like, this is what we need.
Mm-hmm. That's what
I'm
we need to be doing.
I'm so tired of idiots. Like
Hey, drop. All right, you dropped the. All right, that's the
that's
that's
my
the
Instagram.
Instagram. All right, good.
Mhm.
I'm about to hit you up on Instagram.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm gonna hop out and let you close. Okay, let's stay in touch and let's make something work.
Absolutely. All right, sister. All right, truth teacher. I know you're sleeping, so I'm just gonna remove you. Let me speak for truth teacher. Let me put truth teacher's final words. What you have to understand is when the Andalusians came down to, let me stop fucking with truth teacher. Um, truth. Let me hit you up later, man. He didn't even say that. He didn't even say that. Let me finish. But all right. So, truth teacher. Okay, now for the 13 some odd of you who are still left, I did want to hit on particular points that our guests, our esteemed guests, have brought up. One point was that Hokage, Lord Hokage, mentioned uh, that we should basically keep an open door policy for people who don't identify as black but are destructive towards the black community. Keep an open door for them and allow forgiveness and redemption. I disagree. I agree with everything else he was saying, but on that particular point, I disagree. There is no room for cowards and traitors, as they said in Enemy at the Gates. Enemy at the Gates, the film. One of my favorite films of all times. When the Russians were sending their troops towards the Germans, and then the troops started running back. Retreat, comrades! Retreat! It's hopeless, comrades! I don't know why Russians had British accents, but that's how it was, and that's what happened. Miles, what's going on, Miles? You coming in at the tail end of this, Miles? Unless you're a troll. So again, Lord Hokage, there is no room for cowards and traitors in this army. The Germans must. All right. So we don't want saboteurs in our midst. You understand? We don't want saboteurs here. Saboteurs can go because the first thing that will happen, as Denise and I were chopping it up, right? As Denise and I was chopping it up, the first thing that will happen is you start seeing tiny little things start going wrong because you have these infiltrators in it sabotaging, undermining every idea you tell your colleagues. Okay, sandbagging any project that you start, giving your avowed enemies secrets, insider information, and data on what you have going on. So we don't want these cowards and traitors up in our midst and the uppity niggers family. All right, we're being uppity. We don't want to stay in our place. And the other thing, speaking of that, that I wanted to hit on, right, is that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who they are very happy seeing us in our place. Okay, when they see you on the corner, that's what I was saying to the people who might be listening in who partake in criminal activity. Okay, do what you got to do, get it how you get it, but have a plan, have an exit strategy. You can't poison your people forever. Okay, you can't poison your people forever. Miles, if you have something to say, go ahead. The StreamYard link is pinned. Come on in here, drop some jewels, and then leave. But don't keep interrupting. My exit, or not my exit, my outro. This is my outro. Okay. Have an exit strategy if you're into criminal activity. I don't support it. But if you're gonna do it and you're gonna get it how you get it, because the chips are stacked against you anyway, at least have an exit strategy. Okay? Don't poison your people forever. Be like Jay-Z. Jay-Z started out kind of like thugged out, but now he's a legitimate businessman and he's helping black businesses. Okay? So be like that. Okay? The other thing that I wanted to actually bring up was that when we start letting people dictate our value, we fall into the trap of performing to their expectation and their expectation alone. And at Uppity Niggers, we don't do that kind of stuff over here. We do not stay in our lane. And so, family, I will leave you. You know, we had plenty of great guests. Many topics were expounded on and analyzed and chopped up and dissected. You learned a lot of things. I'm hoping that next time we have an Uppity Niggas broadcast, you come in and you teach us some things, because it's a collaborative process. We're not talking down to you here. We're not talking down to you, and we're not preaching to you. We are a collaborative process. We are a family. So if you have some jewels to drop, like Miles, you should be coming in here and drop some jewels and then leave. If you have jewels to drop, you come in here and you drop some jewels, whether it's on the panel or in the chat section. Okay? So, Uppity Niggers, I need you guys to come in every Thursday, chop it up with the family, and then we can build together. I'm going to leave you guys with this commercial right here.
Don't you get uppity with me.
Uppity? With you? My dear, talking to you means I look nowhere but down.
Hey, let's calm it down.
Oh, that uppity nigger went and hit me on the head.
All right, y'all. That's been the Uppity Niggas broadcast, episode 1. Not letting people who think you're worthless dictate your worth. Okay? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. And if you're on any social media platforms, I need you to go there. Share this link to this video, to this live stream. Share a link to this channel. Come back with a friend or 10. Peace out.